I'm here. I'm here. You guys can relax. Alright. Just get rid of some of this. Alright. I just need to do some more. Ah, there we go. Gotta announce this stuff. You know, one day, I've been streaming for how long now? One day I'll learn to have the stuff all prepared in advance. Today, however, is not that day. Well, whatever. We are at part 10, right? Hang on. Let me check the... check the other ones. Hey, yo. Hey, Aaron. Welcome in. Welcome in. How you doing? It says part 8 here. Wait, no. No. Okay, yeah, we are doing part 10. Okay, good. It's a Wednesday, so we made it through. I need to update the first post on the jam about part 9, because I completely forgot to update that. I have the VOD out on YouTube, but I just don't have the... I just forgot to edit it into the initial post. Oh, well. I am making banana bread, so I'm excellent. That sounds awesome. Kind of... Ooh, now I want some banana bread. Okay, yeah. Good. Always down for trying out more, or not trying out, because I know banana bread's great. I'll share, awesome. Just throw it really hard, and maybe it'll cross state borders, and then yeah, we'll be all right. I made banana bread on Sunday. Hey, Regita, welcome in. Welcome in. Banana bread kicks ass. Yeah. Oh man, it's been years since I've had banana bread. I legit forgot that it even existed until just now. But that's perfectly fine. Always worth remembering about great stuff. Also, hey, welcome in, Call me. Call me. There we go. Wow, unsubbed. Really? Wait, wait, what? Because I said I like banana bread? Bruh. What is this? I get so much hate. Just because, hey, I just remembered that banana bread existed. It's a good thing. Ban him? Wow. Wow, that is the fastest corruption that I've ever seen from a new chatter. Because they're like, oh wow, hey, look, hey Nova, welcome in. Thank you so much for streaming my game. And then Call Me goes from banana bread kicks ass to ban him in 2 messages. Like, wow, that's got to be some kind of record. But yeah, welcome in, DJ. How you doing? Because you forgot it existed? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm a banana bread enjoyer. Good. As you should be. As we all should be. I am banana bread's strongest soldier. Yeah, but alright. I hope everybody's Wednesday's been going alright, other than that. But I guess my Wednesday, well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to find out if I can get some banana bread at my store, because I can't get any. I don't... I'm still traumatized from every other time that I've tried to make something, so... Yeah. Okay, do you guys hear that? Some truck is, I think, about to back into my apartment. Sometimes I can't tell what you guys can hear and what you can't, because y'all hear thunder outside, and then you don't hear a truck that's about to back in. Hey Ozzy, welcome in. Hey Lumi, I'm banana bread's strongest ambivalent. Yeah, and I don't see anybody calling for your ban. The disrespect I get here. The double standards that we see here. Mod him. What? It's the haters that get the hammer. I'm not a hater. I just forgot that it existed for a while. I've been getting by with donuts. Yeah. Which is weird because I've got quite the sweet tooth. I enjoy me some sweets and desserts. So it's kind of weird that banana bread just kind of flew under my radar. Okay. So this one actually might be more of the short, really, Stoic? Really? No swearing? You're gonna redeem that? You know, do I even have that wheel? Hang on. Because ever since the last time, yeah, we've had to... Yeah, okay. We've had to, yeah, I've had to remake it from scratch, and I've not been able... It popped up for me? Ah, okay. Yeah, so that's something that, admittedly, not a lot of people have done since the judging started. I'm assuming because they didn't want to distract anybody, but... Yeah, if I swear for the next 30 minutes, then I have to... There's a punishment wheel that I have to spin. And depends on what happens if I spin it. But yeah, there used to be a lot more on here, which is kind of a shame. But hey, and then once I get my new laptop, I'll just have to restart. I'll have to remake this thing all over again. But whatever, that's my problem. Of course, it's not going to be anybody's problem if I can just keep it contained. You know, 30 minutes. We gotta start that timer. Hang on. Wait. Oh, right. We have a timer thing in here. How are you, Nova? I was actually pretty tired this morning. I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just stared at the ceiling for forever. Which, yeah, that sucked. But, yeah. It happens every now and then. I'm alright. But yeah, I've just been kind of slow to do anything today. Hope you can get some good rest tonight. Not while I still have games to judge. That ain't an option. The good news is I'm almost done. For now. But yeah, we'll just keep it up. But yeah, once I'm done, I'm definitely going to just take like a long sleep. But until then, it's nose to the grindstone. I extended a judging an extra week so you can get your beauty sleep. Oh, just for me? Oh, thank you. Oh, you see, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, the whole judging period got extended just so I can get some sleep. Me, personally. So, you're welcome, or I'm sorry, depending on your stance on that. But hey, it just means that more people have a chance to go and check out some more games while the contest is still hot. Speaking of contest, tonight's highlights actually have a theme to them, rather than just games that stuck out to me. Little behind the scenes thing is that I've been judging a lot of games that tried something. They tried to do something interesting, and then either it didn't work out, or they submitted it, and then not too long after, they just pulled their entry. I don't know why they did that, but I remember seeing some people saying that their games, like their games were the first time they've ever submitted something for a jam, or the first time their games have been, or the first time they've made a game, period. And while I haven't played those games yet, because, you know, they got pulled, I did see some that were able to stumble across the finish line and that had a lot of problems. To the point where, I'm not going to name names again, but I've had one instance where there were games that actually were sprinkled with developer notes apologizing for things that just didn't work out. Like, hey, I tried to do something and I just completely failed at it. And you know what? When you're first starting out, That's completely understandable. You know, you got yourself a shiny new toy. You want to make the game you really want to make. You don't realize just how tough game development can be. You crash and burn. It happens. I'm not making any judgments on these developers at all. I'm just saying that it happens. So tonight's theme are going to be games that stuck out to me that I looked. It does, but I do wish they leave the notes out. Well, the thing is, Aaron, when you get put in that kind of stress situation the first time, sometimes you don't really know how to act or react. So I don't really blame them, because, I mean, again, I'm not going to name any names, but some games were, if they didn't have the notes, I would swear that they would be joke games. It's true, but that's why I'm mentioning it, because otherwise they don't learn. I don't think if they had to apologize in their notes, I feel like they learned the lesson. That's just me. They're just trying to make sure that people around the audience doesn't think that they're making joke games. Because I'm not going to lie, in that one game without that developer note, I could have sworn that it was a joke game. Yeah. Sure, but a different lesson about time management, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes some lessons have to be learned the hard way. I get that. Not a problem. So tonight's games that we're going to play are also games that the developers have said, hey, this is their first time making games for the Game Jam. And sometime, I think one of them said this was their first time making a game, period. And they followed some very good practices that I wanted to highlight, that I think is very important. So, let's get started with the first one. We love first games? Of course we do. Absolutely. Let me just make sure my notes are all out of the way. I don't want you guys seeing any scores. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let me just take this one out. So if the devs of these are listening in, I'm glad you had to clarify that, Aaron, because we couldn't tell for sure if you were doing if you were being sarcastic or not. Sometimes it's hard to convey that when all you are is just a name in a text. Anyway, so devs, if you're listening to this, couple notes here. I'm just gonna have to. Here's my normal speech that I'm gonna say at the beginning of all these, because for some people it may be the first time they're seeing. This is not a live judging session. Everything that I'm playing here, I've already played and I've already judged. So, if we come across like a game-breaking bug in the middle, in like the first 10 minutes, don't worry, you're not disqualified. Because I didn't come across it when I played it. You're fine. These are just... I'm playing these games to highlight them, just to kind of... because they have something interesting that I wanted to talk about. Second thing. Don't take what I'm saying here too personally. It can... kind of like what Aaron's saying here. It's tough to put yourself out there for the first time. I completely get it. I'm just talking about your games and only your games. There is no criticism of the dev behind it. I promise. And if there is, you can throw tomatoes at me. Because it's not intentional. So let's start. Here's the first one that was on my list. There's only going to be 2 games today, by the way. So, and they're both fairly short. So that's why I'm saying that tonight's going to be a pretty short stream. So the first one is Through Death's Door. And I should have... There we go. There you go. It's true, and especially in the context of the previous statements, I do really celebrate new devs and their willingness to put themselves out there. Yes. Yeah. It's tough no matter what. So, it's okay. just understand that no matter what criticisms I bring out towards this game, the blanket statement, the underlying statement that I want to make absolutely clear is that no matter what, you all need to be proud of what you've done. Making a game is not easy. Making a game in 1 month is not easy. Making a good game in 1 month, that's astronomical. So, no matter what, I hope you guys are proud of yourselves. You should be. Hell, it's tough even the third or fourth time. I think it's going to be tough no matter what, especially when you try something different. The nature of these creative projects is that you put a good chunk of yourself out there. So yeah, it can sting when that gets criticized. So yeah, I totally get it. So, Through Death's Door is a mystery game about a maid who is sent to clean up a death scene, a crime scene, basically. And here we go. December 10th, breaking news. Underground idol Erie. I think that's Erie. Irie. Yeah, Irie, found dead in apartment. No instance of foul play has been found. Reports have ruled the case as suicide. Investigators have attributed this tragedy to a number of factors, including Irie's recent heartbreak and diminishing popularity. 201, 202, room 203. It would have been easier if you just gave me a number instead of making me solve a puzzle. Why make me do math just to find the room I'm supposed to clean? Well, I should just be glad I made it here in one piece. I didn't expect such a small building when I heard the word idol. But I guess it makes sense that she couldn't afford a more expensive place. From what I've heard, underground idols don't really earn that much. In any case, it should be an easy gig. Get in, clean up, get out. The same as usual. Not too bad. From the way he was begging me to take this gig, I thought it would be way worse. I should let him know that I'll be done soon. I forgot my phone. I should grab that now before I lose it for real this time. Ah. Whoops. Oh. Very nonchalant about this. Shit. Oh, by the way, no, me swearing, even though you guys put in the no cursing timer, me reading stuff off the game does not count. Doesn't count. Too bad. Get scammed. Not again. Death 1. Through Death's Door. Quite literally, huh? Time loop. A lot was said based on that, on all those text boxes of just pure dots. It's like even though this was a static portrait, like you can definitely tell the gears were turning in her head. And then just a nonchalant conclusion of time loop, as if that's something normal. Tells you, in my opinion at least, tells you a lot about what kind of world that we're in, where a time loop is apparently pretty normal. Now, granted, I haven't read the page. I don't know what kind of background. I don't know if the page explains the background of like this world. But just FYI, we don't take game page lore into consideration when it comes to judging. We just have to look at what the game itself is presenting. So, my interpretation of that last scene was, oh, time loops are normal in this universe. And then here's the tutorial. Time will loop each time Luca dies. So if you guys have played 12 minutes, I think it was called 12 minutes, or some other similar games, yeah, we're doing that here. Time will loop each time Luca dies. Any risks or dangers that are resolved will subsequently disappear from the loop. Each resolution will act as another checkpoint where Luca's time will loop from. There's no real guarantee that things will play through the same way again, but I have a feeling that the rules are the same as last time. And there you go. So yes, Luca has been in this before. Whatever that last time is, I don't know. Unless she's saying that the rules in this iteration are the same as the last iteration. But I don't know. I think you can read that either way. My priority should be figuring out what's trying to kill me. I don't know about the whole trying part, but yeah. And then getting rid of it so I can leave. I should start off by taking a look around. And there we go. This is the gameplay. So the reason why I wanted to pick this one out to highlight, because it does one thing very, very right. Especially when it comes to first games. Scoping. This room here. Oh, well. This room that you're seeing here, this is it. This is the whole game. There is one more map that you play at the... which is not really a play. It's more like an epilogue scene. But for the most part, this is it. The whole game takes place in this one room. So when you think that your game is... you think you've scoped small enough, guess what? You can scope smaller. Especially when you're first learning the engine and how everything works. And I think this game understands that. By the way, yeah? Oh crap. And dead. Beware of sharp corners. Ow, ow, ow. Ow? It doesn't hurt. Right, time loop. It's a broken mirror. Something feels off. So the one thing that kind of caught me a couple of times here is the fact that you can't really tell. Due to the nature of this dialogue, you're going to notice that there's going to be times when there's going to be a pause right here, like a pause between lines. And sometimes it's hard to tell when that pause is intentional or if it's because it's the end of the scene. So I think what should have been done was make some kind of clear indicator that the scene was over and I could resume exploring, because more times than I really want to admit, I was just kind of standing there for like 10 seconds or so. It was like, oh, the scene is done. Yeah. So you can do that by having this message window be like its own separate image and then disappear, make that disappear when the scene is over. But other than that, yeah. So far that's a bit of an issue. Let's get this cleaned up before I slip and fall again. Technically, that's what I was hired to do in the first place. There we go. All clean again. The official report says Irie hung herself. But that doesn't seem likely considering the fact that she probably died after hitting her head on the table. And then this is the gameplay. You just go around and you just examine everything. I can use this space to revisit everything I've learned so far. I should check back on it from time to time. The stuff I learn will be collected here. Irie definitely had a large impact to her head, causing the bloodstains on the floor. While it doesn't rule out the fact that it could have happened after her death, all the chairs were still upright, all still tucked in neatly. So she couldn't have hung herself. I'm still missing some pieces of the puzzle. I should take another look around and come back when I have more information. And then the rest of it is just wandering around. A shoe cabinet. It's neatly organized. Most of them are heels, but there's a few pairs of sneakers down below. If I had to guess, they heels average out to about 3.5 inches. There's a box of Band-Aids tucked away into the corner. She must have had a rough time wearing these all the time. Come to think of it, she did seem like the type to believe beauty is pain. But it was probably because she was an idol that she forced herself to wear these shoes all the time. There's something here. And then there's a diary piece. Like part of the diary entry. The full diary is probably lying around somewhere around here. More boxes. There's a note stuck here. Irie, I'm leaving some boxes here. I'll pick them up next week. I promise this time. From Emil. Dated September 23rd. It's already December. How long does it take to pick up your own boxes? There's something here. And there's another diary piece. Newspapers. Not a very safe place to keep them if you want to read them. There's something weird about this whole collection. Uh-oh. And then there's another death. No news is good news. You know, I wasn't sure what to make of that because, really? It's that easy to die? Yeah. So, on one hand, the dev knows how to draw. Unquestioningly. As you can see right here. And the title screen. Which makes the fact that there's no real visuals on the death scenes for the field sprites even more bizarre to me. Is that easy to die? A box to the head? Is that really it? If I want to check it again, I should make sure to move the box first. Every time I die, I end up back in front of this mirror. I can't help but feel like there's a reason for it. But I don't have anywhere enough information to go figure it out yet. I should keep looking around. Even if it kills me. So, the next thing that I want to point out, because I know the dev knows how to draw, bringing your attention to something I brought up a couple of times for past highlights, Mixels. As you can see, Luca's sprite here is much higher resolution than the sprites that we have in the environment. This just looks bad because it's inconsistent. So it would have been better if we had a low res, oh god, Mixels. Hey, yep. So yeah, you can see that the pixel size on the field sprite is much smaller than the environment sprite. And now that I pointed it out, you guys can no longer unsee it. That's going to be in your brains for the rest of your lives. You're welcome. But first game, I get it. Sometimes you don't notice that. But hey, sometimes games can get away with that. Stardew Valley gets away with that. So ultimately, a lot of devs don't know that. Possibly. But I'm just pointing it out now because the dev has some artistic tendencies. So I think it's best to break the habit of using Mixels early. But yeah, it looks like she's just she looks like she's on a different plane of existence. Like she's from a whole different dimension when there's such a drastic change in pixel resolution here. So I believe this looks like a generator sprite, maybe edited. Because yeah, like some of this looks familiar. I don't really want to start guessing too much about this, but yeah, this is just something to keep in mind next time you do a release. Just have everything in a consistent pixel resolution. That's just gonna make it look much better. Better move these boxes out of the way. There's a piece of paper under all these boxes. And there's another diary piece. The diary pieces can be considered as like a progress meter. I believe there are 10 diary pieces around here that we need to check out. But that's all we can... So there's 10 things in here that we can examine. Let's take a look. Newspaper clippings and advertisements. Check out the news clippings. Latest hot idol Irie makes her debut. Lots of eyes are watching in anticipation. What magic will she show next? Are these all about herself? Irie dating? Learn more about the idol's secret lover and what it means for the rest of her career. It's just more gossip. Okay. Quick hexes. First curse is 50% off. Haunted? Call an exorcist for hire. Tall, long hair, and guaranteed to make any ghosts go away. Call B. The number is cut off. Shame. I'd probably call them myself right now. Soul ties. Keep yourself grounded. No body, no problem. Horoscopes for the day. Collect your lucky item and you're sure to never trip on your feet. These must definitely be scams. Alright, moving on. A microphone. It's completely dust-free. Must be used pretty often. I'd sing a tune, but the only songs I know are from choir. A keyboard. I should have kept up with lessons when I was told to. So again, this game does something that I've wished other games would do, that I've shown off here. Character dialogue is information filtered through the character's lens. In a lot of games that I played, a keyboard. This was the begin and end of that whole examination. But no, we get a little bit of Luca's personality by just having her tinker with the keyboard. She didn't have to do that. She's not here to do that. And then I should have kept up with lessons when I was told to. Just a little bit of flavor text like that gets us to follow Luca around and kind of get to know her as a protagonist. Get to know anybody as a protagonist. So the dev understands that. That's good. Books on music theory and composition. They're worn through from cover to cover. There's a small note stuck in the corner. Use this for next single. From Irie herself, I guess. Did she write her own music? Well, I suppose you have no choice to do so when you're a solo artist. Yep. Make your characters feel like human beings? That's easy to say, but we've seen so many instances where they just... I get that in the dev's head, these characters are humanized. But the problem is, we don't know, us players don't know what's going on in the heads of devs. So, what devs don't understand, and I'm not going to pretend that I was not guilty of this, when I first started out, was that players have no reason to assume more than what you're personally willing to convey. Right? So, unless you, I don't want to say load it on us, unless you bring it forth, we have no reason to talk about a character's personality beyond what is already presented to us. So, just to clarify what I mean right now, thanks to the custom portrait, which is, it's nice, but combine this, her relatively, I don't want to say unchanging expressions, but yeah, she has a very mild character, mild facial expression shifts. Combine that with her rather nonchalant attitude towards learning about the time loop and getting killed. That tells you a lot about this kind of person, what kind of person she is. So you don't have to have everybody become caricatures in order to convey personality. A lot of bottled water. Stay hydrated and healthy, full of electrolytes and vitamins. Sparkling water for a sparkling you. I have to admit, that's pretty catchy. Sports drinks. I've seen these bottles all around the room. If I'm remembering right, they're supposed to be really good for you or something. But they taste really terrible. I can still remember that absolutely disgusting aftertaste. Whoever drinks these needs to get their priorities straight. No more nasty, health-conscious drinks. Who in the world wants a... Wait, there's no question mark at the end. Who in the world wants a bitter sports drink? Yeah, sometimes I just like to read the text just as it's written. So I don't like to assume that some typos are not typos, and when I see periods instead of question marks, that changes how you read sentences. So that's just a weird thing that I do. But hey, if that was in fact supposed to be a question, that should have been a question mark at the end. They should be crisp and refreshing. Supposedly, it's supposed to help remind you about the fact that it's a healthy choice. But why would you even want to drink it in the first place? There's a small note stuck on the package. From your biggest and most lovable fan. Well, there's a dilemma. Either you're a good idol that accepts the nasty drinks and drink them, or you trample all over the feeling of your one or two diehard fans by tossing them. Well, the choice for me is pretty easy. Give it to someone who loves bitter things. Aren't I smart? So that's an example of going a little too hard on character backstory and character dialogue. While it's true that you want to have as much characterization as possible, if you load up too much, some of it's going to get lost in the cracks. It also doesn't help the fact that this entire dialogue is repeated. So if you have something lengthy like that, it's perfectly fine to have once. But once you do that, you really ought to think about having a self-switch set and then having a shorter version of that dialogue every time you want to examine it a second time or a third time or etc. Unless there's something absolutely vital that we need to have in this lengthy cutscene. But even then, make sure that's conveyed in the abridged version. Because remember, this is a game about exploring and finding stuff, which means that over time, if you can't find what you're looking for, you're going to start banging your head against the wall and re-examining everything just in case you miss something. And that leads to you reading through this over and over and over again, which, yeah, you don't actually need to do. So yeah, consider that next time. The room temperature is supposed to be pretty warm, but I've been feeling pretty chilly since I got here, to the point where I was glad I wore long sleeves today. But then again, they do say that ghosts can lower room temperatures by a few degrees. Being haunted is pretty hard. The view is pretty nice out there. Wait, is that a cat outside? Meow, meow, meow. Ah, it's gone. And yeah, the cat will continue to be back there and then leave. Which is a kind of a missed opportunity for her to be sad that the cat was gone, or some kind of reaction to a missing cat. Because that would have been something without it. You could solve the problem of having an abridged version of that last dialogue and also continue to convey more information. Someone definitely tried to break into this thing. The lock managed to hold. I'm guessing there's a key around here somewhere. Okay. More boxes. Looks like those are also addressed to Emil. His name has been showing up pretty often. Some of these have already been cracked open, so let me just lean over and... This is kind of creepy. Candles, a knife, a small mirror. Interesting. Okay, so that's also interesting because there's additional dialogue for that one scene once you learn more about the mystery of what happens here. So I'm glad to see that the dev thought about that. But again, if it makes it all the more reason why you need to have abridged versions of certain dialogue scenes. Some high quality knives. One is missing. For obvious reasons, I really don't like the thought of that. It's not too much to hope that the knife was just taken out to get sharpened, right? Let's just hope someone misplaced their scissors or something, and then dangerously decided it was a better idea to use a knife instead. Never mind the fact that there was a knife right there. She just had to turn around and be like, oh, there's a knife. This board has hardly been used. It's pretty on track with everything else in this kitchen. It's one of the few areas in here with little to no trash. And there goes another bot. I've learned not to randomly yell at bots here because I forgot that you guys don't actually see that. Actually, wait, hang on. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, it said likely ban evader restricted. Okay, cool. I was still shocked when you told me that nobody saw the bot messages. I was like, wait. I remember earlier there was a bot message that came in and you guys were laughing at it. And so I just assumed that everybody saw the bot messages. Yeah. Well, aside from the takeout boxes and the trash can. The question is, was it because she couldn't cook or didn't have the time to cook? Well, it could easily be the former. I know what it's like to be banned from a kitchen. Which brings up a whole bunch of questions. It's like, wait, okay, What does that mean? And no, she does not elaborate on that. A little old toaster. There are some crumbs here and there. I guess it's used pretty often. Toasting anything is a quick way to get a delicious snack. I could go for some toast right now, with extra strawberry jam. What's life without a little sweet treat? Do you think it would be okay if I looked inside? It's definitely not because I'm looking for something to snack on. But if there was something in there that suited my taste, well, it's empty. There's something here. There's another diary piece. There's another note stuck on the fridge. Remember to send your letter. Wonder who's important enough to get a letter reminder posted on the fridge. A dusty landline. Looks like it hasn't been used in a while. I wonder if it works. There's a few people I could call. And then that's just another random death. It's like, wait, what? Where did that one even come from? Again, that's I think one of the biggest failings of this game is that there's just no visual representation about how you die. I saw how you could die from slipping on the bloodstain and hitting your head on there, but a box? And then that, just looking at a phone, that kills you? Wait, the phone killed you? Hey, Valkyria, I guess it did, yeah. Yeah, and Luca is just as annoyed about that as the rest of us are. I heard a spark sound effect go off, so maybe we got electrocuted somehow. I'll check the plug before I pick up the phone this time. Yeah, that's it. From what it felt like, it was probably an electricity surge that got me. I'll need a surge protector to make sure it doesn't happen again. Maybe I'll find one in the bedroom? Okay. This plant is dying. Droopy leaves, dry soil, that'll do it. May its soul rest in peace. There's a small bottle of pesticide next to it. Looks like she was trying at least. But most people wouldn't keep this much pesticide for just one plant. I have an odd feeling about it. I should keep looking around. That's a men's coat. I know because I bought one recently for... That's off topic. It's out of line with all the other clothing Irie has, so I don't think it belongs to her. Maybe she had a friend over? There's something there. There's another diary piece. It could have been Emil. I think I have enough pieces to piece her diary together. Yeah, when it comes to writing, definitely you want to, unless you're making like a deliberate wordplay here, you might want to pick a different word here. I think I have enough scraps to piece her diary together, or I think I have enough pieces to restore this page. Because it's not the entire diary, it's a page. I should combine them in my inventory, then go and check the diary again. Okay, actually, you know what, before we do that, I'm curious. Here's the diary that we're talking about. It's Irie's diary. I feel like I shouldn't pry into someone's diary, but diaries are meant to be read, right? Sorry, Irie. I'll make it up to you by cleaning your house real nice. December 8th. Dear Diary, I'm finally going to sign the deal. I've been working so hard, it feels like my efforts are finally being rewarded. But I still need to be really careful. I'm still really scared that everything is going to fall apart. The other pages are ripped out. I wonder if I can find them. Well, here's one. There we go. Gained one diary page. And then here's entry 2. Let's see what these pages have to say. I can't deny that I need him in my life. Or rather, I need his connections. Is this about Emil maybe? Just as he needs my music. There's no love in this relationship of ours. I'm well aware of it. But playing this game of cat and mouse, I'm scared that I'll be on the losing end. It's gone on for so long, I knew it was a bad idea to do it in the first place. But it was the only way I thought I'd be able to make a future for myself. I want to make music, not be some lifeless doll paraded around on his arm. So before things get any more dangerous for me, I'm going to take action first. Just what in the world was she plotting? Also, I don't think I missed those eye spasms right there. I didn't notice that my first time through. You know, the thing about the way that this setup is, and this is something that's been bothering me for a little bit, the player's eye is going to be here most of the time, right? It's a lot harder to keep, like, and then your eyes are drawn all the way over here whenever she changes expressions, which it's just expressions. She has no other poses or anything else. Again, not knocking that for a jam game. It's fine. But when you have to look so much from the text and then to her face to try and associate the two, that's a lot. Eventually, when I was playing, my eyes just stayed right here, and I wasn't even paying attention to the face here. Now, granted, probably less of a problem if you play this in windowed mode, where there's a lot less room for the eye to travel. But I was playing it on full screen, so yeah, there was a lot to change here. What in the world was she plotting? No question mark. That's the end of this entry. But again, I respect the idea of having a whole border around here, and then this just basically being her, like a constant presence in this entire game. So I think this is an interesting choice, but it would be a lot more. This is just something to think about in the future. But yeah, with the lack of pose changes, it's a lot harder for me to tell how often the expression changes. Rising Star Award. Category, Composition and Songwriting. It looks like she was doing pretty well. The award is pretty recent too. That's right, I heard about it on the news. They're doing some kind of award show for it, since it's the end of the year. Lots of famous people coming to visit the city. Excuse me, I need more caffeine. The streets have been packed lately. That's a pretty big opportunity to get your name out in front of all the bigwigs. Not that she can go anymore. What a bummer. Okay, on that one. Oh yeah, this one. It's a dining table set for one. Looks like it hasn't gotten much use. No wonder. It's not like there's a TV or anything nearby. Eating in complete silence. Who does that nowadays? I do. You know what? Yeah, okay, yeah, I should check the cabinets in the bedroom. Right, forgot about that one. Okay, cabinets in the bedroom. Let's go. It's a rack full of dresses. Given the style and the crazy amount of frills, they're probably stage outfits. Is this supposed to be a nurse outfit? Weird taste. Oh, it's a stage costume. That needs to be lowercase. If you look closely at it, you can see a lot of damage on the dress. Nothing too eye-catching, but the usual wear and tear that happens over time. It's been carefully stitched back together. A lot of shiny beads are also messily sewn in by hand. Okay, so after I had that whole spiel about facial expression changes, I noticed that, yeah, this was the same face that was in the last one. So the thing about dialogue that I've found out just by reading a lot of these games is that you want dialogue boxes to contain entire ideas. This text and the last text could have gone together in one single dialogue box because it was all part of the same idea, talking about how messy this dress was. The one exception to that, unless if you really want to do that, and remember this is an exception, that doesn't mean you can ignore this rule, is that if your facial expression changes between these text messages, then yes, it's okay to have the same idea broken into two different parts. There are better ways to handle that. You can have the expression change mid dialogue box. That is something that you can do. But This time that did not happen. It's the same face and 2 different dialogue boxes describing the same idea. Yeah, stuff like that, you should probably compress that into one. And it'll have the side benefit of keeping you from being too much of a rambler. I get that you want to have her like convey her ideas and interpret the world for us. I get that. Well done. Good job. But there are certain instances where it goes overboard. So you can solve that problem by just condensing one text box, one idea. Of course, from far away, no one would be able to see a drop stitch here or there. But for whoever worked on it, it must have taken ages to get it to come together. But I still think the nurse concept is a little odd. What would you say on stage anyway? Welcome everyone to the show. Who's here to be healed? Oh, I get it now. It's a rack full of dresses. Yep, more stage outfits. An alarm clock. It's set to ring at 3 o'clock. Weird time to set an alarm for. Well, maybe if you're trying to wake up from a nap. 2 to 3 in the afternoon is a nice time slot for, after all. Nice and cozy, with the sunlight streaming in. Yeah, and that's why the sunlight's all the way over on the other side of this room. That's it. I'm taking time off tomorrow to plan an afternoon nap. When I finally make it to tomorrow. There's a lot of drawers here. Most are empty, but there's something down here. There's a surge protector. Score. This'll be useful. All that's left is a small radio. I wonder what she was listening to. A cup, but I'm not sure what's in it. Okay, so this one was really funny to me because it was like, okay, you have a cup with an unknown liquid on it. Why in the world would anybody even be tempted to drink this? After all, Luca has presented herself to be a pretty reasonable person up to this point. Someone who's pretty even-tempered and can look at situations calmly. Why in the world would she ever be tempted to drink this? I'm not going to drink someone else's drink. Yeah, the fact that it's someone else's, that's what gives her pause? That's a pretty weird, in my opinion, character-breaking moment. I'm not saying that drinking it is a bad thing, but she doesn't have enough reason to do that yet. And yeah, just FYI, you have to do that to get through the game. But you can see where she would be understandable why she would drink it. Even if you don't agree with it. Bulletin boards full of different notes and reminders. Daily wake-up time, 5:30 a.m. Just thinking about waking up that early is making me tired already. There's something here. Oh, there's another diary piece. The rest of the schedule is really packed as well. Exercise warm-ups, read paper, vocal exercises, interview preparation, flexibility stretches, snack break, writing assignments, dance practice, run errands, call agencies, draft contracts, pitch concepts, meeting with vocal coaches, studio work, meeting, miscellaneous errands, film session, composition meetings, fitness lessons, vocal training again, pack boxes. Is this a to-do list? Well, at least it doesn't say anywhere that she meant to do it all at once. Okay, so let's go do the thing that got us killed last time. No. Let's get this thing fixed before I even try touching it again. Plug this in here. Plug this in there. Phone works again. Hopefully. Alright, so check voicemail. One new message. December 9th, 2:34. Hey babe, it's me, Emil. We haven't talked in a while. You can't just leave me hanging like this. Not after everything I've done for you. Please, just talk to me. You can't treat me like this. Or else you'll really regret it. You better make the right choice. I'll come see you. Is it just me or did he sound really tense? I don't think his intonation was the problem. I think the fact that was just a direct threat should be something that she should pick up on first. From the sound of it, this guy only spells a pain in the ass for Irie. Whoops. I think this is MV, but I know that in MZ, you don't have to default your show choice menu to an option 1. So if that's also possible in MZ, then you might want to think about that before immediately popping in a show choice menu, because the way this is a habit I've been trying to break, but let me show something as an example. When you have text that appears like a little by little like that, some people like to immediately hit space to display the entire text all at once. Now, that's all well and good, but when you put in something that requires player input, like a show choice at the very start, players don't even realize that, and they'll just subconsciously hit space twice and then make the first choice, like I did just there. So it's something to think about. There are many different ways around it, but you'll have to experiment with them and find out which one you think works best for you. Personally, I like to just have a option. I just don't like to have a cursor on any of the choices until the player presses an arrow key. So then they can make the deliberate choice to go after, let's just select an option. Okay, dial phone number. Who should I call? Ghostbuster? Okay, no, Shaman. Nope, this is a legally distinct thing. We can't do that here. I'm not sure if I should even call this guy, but better than nothing, right? See, there we go. I was just about to hit the key, hit an arrow key, thinking that there was something was missing, because what you just saw was the default the default input, default footage where you can just move around. That's why I said at the beginning of this, is very important to have players understand the difference between a cutscene and not, because you have this nice looking overlay throughout the entire game, and you can't do that if you don't want players to know the difference between cutscene and gameplay. Wait, Sumin, it's me. Luca? What's the sudden call for? Well, you can say that I'm currently sharing space with a spiritual entity of a being that is most likely deceased. You're haunted. Yes. And you're calling because... As someone who can see ghosts, you have more experience with this kind of stuff than I do. And to add, this one keeps trying to kill me. No need to let him know I already died. Weren't you raised in a church? Just spray some holy water on it. I don't have any. I'm here for a cleaning job, not an exorcism. In that case, you'll need to get rid of whatever's connecting the ghost to you. Usually it's because of regrets and last wishes. So basically I just have to keep looking around. You're a smart girl. Besides, you'll probably be able to see something, if not the full thing. We're related after all. Well, thanks, I guess. If you're really grateful, tell Kaden to stop calling me. Sure. Well, looks like I should keep looking around. Okay, yeah, but let's go call the priest. I hope the call goes through. Oh. Jacob De Silva speaking. Ah, it's me. Luca, why the sudden call? And why from this number? Long story, I'll tell you later. But I need your advice on something. To get to the point, I keep dying, and I think it's because I'm getting haunted. What? What do you mean, keep dying? You know, stuck in a time loop. Again. Again. So if it wasn't clear before, yeah, this just tells you, yeah, she's been in this kind of situation before. Kind of interesting how you would establish this kind of past for a character that apparently hasn't appeared before in any other work, because this is the dev's first game. Ah, I see. Like that time then. Yeah, like that again. Well, since ghosts can't directly interact with the world we inhabit, they'll have to find ways to circumvent this, such as possession or a closed loop. I feel like I got myself dragged into another lecture, but I can't even complain about it because I do need it. Luca? Yep, still listening. I see. Well, this makes me think the entity in question is keeping you trapped because it needs something from you. Have you tried asking what it wants? Oh, so now I have to talk to it? You don't have to necessarily. We don't even know if it's capable of speech. Either way, an attempt might advance your effort of freeing yourself. While you might not be able to hear the spirit, it may very well be able to hear you. You don't have any quick tips on getting rid of it, do you? Try to keep an open mind. Look around you and think about what you would do if you were a vengeful ghost, and you only had a clueless maid as your way of getting out. I, for one, wouldn't be killing people. Haha, but you're still alive, aren't you? You can do this, Luca. I'll pray for you. And I'll expect to see you later. Good night. Looks like I have no choice but to keep looking around. Okay. And then finally, let's call the boss. Yo, boss! Some crazy ghost is trying to kill me. Get me out. Get me out of here. This should be the right number. Why does this guy even have a phone if he never picks up? Forget it. I don't think he'll pick up even if I try calling again. So yeah, that's that. Just learn a little bit about Luca's, personal life, which I appreciate. Okay. Plants dying. A little pesticide. This much pesticide for just one plant. Alright, and then might as well learn more about it. Only one way to find out. That was gross. Really gross. Why is everything spinning? And we're dead. Because, yeah, of course we're dead. Why? Like, really? That one, yeah, that one was just kind of on you. That drink was spiked? You really can't trust anything nowadays. Not even the drinks in your own home. But they didn't say she died from poison. There's something suspicious about the whole thing. Really now? I should take another look when I can. Like, I get that due to the non-linearity of the progression of the mystery here, yeah, this could be the first time you died, other than the scripted death. Oh yeah, speaking of scripted death, well, I've been thinking about doing this for a bit, but just wanted to show off a cute little thing. Might as well try again. There's no harm in... Yeah, death 2, nothing has changed. Period. Yeah, should have figured. So, the fun thing is, there is a way to actually, you know what? I'm just out of curiosity. Let's do it one more time. There's no point in trying to leave when I haven't figured out what's killing me yet. It's not like anything will change if I just try to leave now. I try anyway. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Death 2.5. Really, nothing has changed. I should really stop doing that. Yeah. Okay, just a fun little detail. There's a little fun in this game, you know. It is supposed to be kind of a mystery, but, you know, can't help but have a little fun with this concept, though. Well, now I know there's something weird added in here. It was really bitter. But then again, I have to admit that I have quite the sweet tooth. But that was still way too bitter to be any kind of regular coffee. The only question is, why? Come to think of it, it tastes somewhat like the sports drink in the kitchen. Though I'm pretty sure those drinks don't kill you once drink them. But it does make it difficult to differentiate between the poison drink and that sports drink. Someone who's been drinking these sports drinks semi-frequently wouldn't realize that this cup is spiked. Not until they had a few sips at least. Come to think of it, It has a similar smell to the pesticide that has sprayed on her houseplant. So every time she says come to think of it or has some kind of linking realization, yeah, that's because it's linking to something else that you've discovered earlier. So she learns a little bit more about the situation and starts connecting the dots around the same time you do. So that's another nice little detail that I appreciate. It's not enough to kill you if you only have a small sip of it, but it'll make you dizzy. There's no reason for Irie to spike her own drink. The only logical conclusion is that someone else did this to her. So on one hand, and this is something I have mixed feelings about, and I'm no professional writer, but when it comes to writing these kinds of mystery novel stories for games, it's one thing to have her connect the dots, right? Where she says, hey, this tastes similar to the sports drink, and it smells similar to the pesticides. But in my opinion, she takes it one step further by drawing the conclusion herself. Because that is now taking interaction from the player's hands. Right? So, by doing that, the mystery starts to solve itself, which defeats the purpose of an interactive medium like a game. Again, it makes sense for her as a character to be connecting these dots and drawing these conclusions. But that's the difference between writing a book, writing a movie, or writing for a game. There are some things that you have to do with a game that you can't really do with books or movies. And the reverse is also true. There are things that you can do with books and movies that you can't do within a game. And I think if you choose the game as your medium of choice, you need to focus on interactivity with the player, first and foremost, because that's the whole point of a game, right? So when it comes to a mystery game like this, I think drawing conclusions should be left up to the player, not the character. Have the character connect the dots as much as possible, sure. But I don't think she should do any more than that. The bear is pretty cute. Or is it a dog? All things considered, Irie does have pretty cute taste in plush toys. If you can't tell what animal it is it really cute? I don't know. I'm not a plush toy connoisseur. So anyone in chat is a plush toy connoisseur? There's a couple around here and there, which is weird because I only see one. I wonder if she had a habit of collecting things that she likes. Oh, there's a gift tag still attached. Irie, cute things suit you best. E. Or maybe she had no choice but to collect them. Seeing how she's left them around, she must have liked them a little, right? There's something here. Oh, yep, there's a diary piece. I think, yeah, these are... Yeah, okay. Well, now I know some weird ad in here. It was really... Okay, yeah. It looks like a pile of trash, but there are some pretty important documents mixed in. Dropout confirmation letters, bills of debt. I can kind of imagine what she was probably going through. There are some letters buried under all the bills. They're really worn down. I guess Irie reads these often. Geez, important documents shouldn't be scattered around below your bed. Taking a closer look, I can't tell who they're from. No stamps on any of these, so I'd guess they're hand-delivered. Fan mail? That would make sense for an idol. Even if you're unpopular, you're sure to have one or two fans out there. That's one or two whole people that are cheering you on. Though that's not really sustainable as a career option. Now that I'm holding these in my hands, I'm getting pretty curious. Opening someone else's mail is technically a crime, but it's only if it hasn't already been opened. A friend of mine thought Banjo-Kazooie was a dog for years. In fact, Luca kind of looks like him. Wait, whoa, Luca looks like Banjo? What? Okay, wait, when you say Banjo-Kazooie, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Banjo or are you talking about Kazooie? I'm a bit concerned. I'm a bit concerned that you put Kazooie in there. It's like, wait, no, Kazooie is definitely a separate being from Banjo. Also, I don't know what the hell Klonoa is, and I think he's cute. Hey, that's fine. Same here, actually. I don't know. I have no clue what Klonoa was supposed to be. Okay, let's look at the pink letter. Dude, no, Luca looks like my friend. Also Banjo. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were saying Luca looked like Banjo. I was like, wait, what? How? Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Okay, pink letter. A very cute, very pink letter. Like everything in her room. Let's see what it says. It feels serene to know you're reading this letter with me in mind. To have you by my side, to keep you in my mind. I hope this feeling stays forever and ever. I don't know about the future, but I know about now. I want to love you with everything that I have. You give me joy. You give me warmth. I love you. My idol, my songbird. Parasocial. Ooh, ugh. Creep. Like, appreciate that you like what I do, but oh man, that is creepy as hell. Banjo's definitely not a girl twink. Alright. A clean white letter. Dear Irie, you're my sparkling inspiration and joy. When I heard you wrote your own songs, I was so excited and stayed up all night to get your tickets to your show. I will keep cheering you on forever. See, that one was fine. I was like, yeah, okay, I like what you do. And you're an inspiration. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. A number of letters like this, all in the same white envelope. Looks like whoever wrote these went to Irie's shows pretty frequently. Oh, this is just Stan. Yeah, pretty much. I'm glad at least some people know the difference between a supporter and a creep. They suddenly stop around this time last year. Okay, unopened letter. Let's commit crimes! Yeah! This one isn't technically open, but I've come this far anyway, so might as well. I mean, yeah, I also think the statute of crimes is lifted a little bit when it comes to death time loops. That's not exactly factored into the legal system. We don't exactly have case law regarding time loops. Irie, here's the invitation to the end of year party. I'm sure you know what I want in return for giving this to you. Don't upset me, Emil. I don't like this guy. There's something here. And there's another diary piece. Okay, diary entry. Gotta keep it safe. How many diary pieces? Okay, 2 more. There's 2 more that I need. There's broken glass everywhere. I better be careful to avoid getting cut on it. Come to think of it, every reflective surface I've seen so far is broken. The mirror in the hallway, the mirror here, and the glass on the cabinet. Did Irie hate looking at herself? It wouldn't make sense for her to leave all that glass lying around though. There's some metal sticking out of here. There's a cabinet key. Okay, well, all things aside, today I'm looking good as well. And you're dead. What? You're kidding me. In this day and age, a girl can't even just compliment herself? How many times has it been already? 5, 6 times? What is it that I'm missing? No question mark. There's got to be something that they want from me to keep killing me like this. But what? Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, like some of these I feel like are self-inflicted. Like when she slips on the blood, hits her head on the table, and then hitting the phone without a surge protector. But it's kind of hard to tell the difference between when the ghost is killing me and when I do something dumb and get killed that way. But regardless, we have the cabinet key. Let's open it up. So much glass. Judging from the impact, someone was definitely trying to break into it. Irie would know where the key is, so who else could it have been? Well, in any case, let's see what she was trying to hide. A guide to soul ties. Materials, candles, blood, an object to bind your soul to. Isn't this the same thing that newspaper ad was showing off? Aren't these the items in the box right next to me? Did Irie... First things first, let's get more information on what this thing is. What is a soul tie? A soul tie lets you keep your loved ones close to you long past their departure. I'm already getting a bad feeling. Oh hey, look! New music! Finally. By placing them in a small item, you can talk to them anytime and anywhere. Okay, I'm seriously getting a bad feeling about this. However, it'll only work when your loved ones have just passed, as that is the prime time where the soul is separated from the body. The soul will stay with you forever, with nothing separating the two of you. Then the question is, who tied who down to this room? See, that's fine. I mentioned earlier about when she starts drawing conclusions for the player, but when she asks questions without answering them, I think that's perfectly fine, because that helps the player kind of make these, kind of edges them towards the conclusions themselves. So yeah, that's good. Do more of that, please. Okay, let me just double check and make sure that okay, I know, okay, here we go. Wait. A pile of dirty laundry. The smell of perfume is really strong. Yeah, sure, let's dig through it. I really don't want to. I really, really don't want to. This is above my pay grade. Fine. Just some dirty laundry. This one has bloodstains on it. Judging from the way the pattern's dried, this definitely wasn't their blood. Who's there? It's likely that someone else's blood got splattered on this person's shirt. Let's take a look at the tag. This brand. If I'm remembering correctly, it's a pretty high-end men's shirt. I've seen this label before when I've done laundry for Caden. But this one hasn't been washed properly. Just look at all those leftover stains. I bet whoever owns this shirt has no problem throwing away money like water. In this day and age, thinking of how many times you can visit a cafe with all that. She says the phrase "in this day and age" a lot. Kind of makes me wonder how old she is. Like, obviously she's got some experience, you know, with life, because she's been sent to a crime scene to clean up. But this makes it, she keeps saying "in this day and age," and I'm just reminded of the time I got yelled at by out-of-touch boomer customers when I was still working at fast food. In this day and age of customer service, you can't do this one thing for me? To which I always respond, no, fuck off. You know, in a way that wouldn't get me fired, obviously. But that's the only time I've ever heard anybody say "in this day and age." So hearing this phrase just makes me think, like, okay, is she like a boomer or what? For now, let's put this back in the pile. I'll get Caden to run some tests on it later. There's something here. There's a diary piece. Today I'm looking absolutely terrible. Horrid even. So it's alright if I say that? Yep, I guess not. A wash bin. It's halfway full. Or half empty, depending on how you want to think about it. Except, why in the world would you keep standing water like this? It's not really my place to judge people's habits. Smells like hydrogen peroxide. But why is the water warm? If my guess is right, then someone poured this out to clean the bloodstain out there. But you'd want to use cold water, and wouldn't mix it with the water. Whoever did this clearly doesn't know what to do. I feel like I'm forgetting something very important. Doesn't this mean someone else must have been in the room trying to clean up the blood after Irie died? There's been no reports of any cleaner other than me showing up. So who could it have been? There's something here. And then there's the other diary piece. That's enough for me to read the rest of Irie's diary. Okay, good. We're gonna do that. we go. And now that actually means I've collected everything, so there's no more need for exploration. So let's go ahead and finish this game, shall we? It's Airi's diary. Entry 3. Here's the rest of her diary. I think he's trying to come after me, or more specifically, my music. I don't know what exactly he's planning, but I'm sure I can figure it out. He sends everything to my place and uses it like storage anyway. It shouldn't be too difficult to do some digging without him realizing. Even if I figure out what he's planning, I'm really scared of following through. But what other choice do I have? He'll kill me otherwise. That's the end of her diary. I think I've learned everything that I need to learn. I should go back and check the bulletin board in the living room. And there we go. We have everything that we need. So, you guys want to try solving the mystery? What do you think happened? Alright, aside from the obvious time loop death trap I'm stuck in, it's clear things are different from how the news is showing it all to be. The cup in her bedroom. It was definitely spiked with pesticide. And seeing how much was in that cup, it's likely that Airi didn't drink much. At best, it would only be a few sips. Probably only enough to make someone dizzy or unsteady on their feet. Airi definitely had a large impact on her head, causing the bloodstains on the floor. While it doesn't rule out the fact that it could have happened after her death, all the chairs were still upright, all still tucked in neatly, so she couldn't have hung herself. If anything, it could have happened right after she had a drink in her room. Dizzy and unsteady on her feet, it's entirely possible that she could have slipped and hit her head against the table. But as for why they ruled it as a suicide by hanging, someone was definitely lying. This lines up with the fact that there's a bloodstained shirt in the bathroom. I have a good feeling that it doesn't belong to Airi, as meticulous as she is. She wasn't alone when she died. If anything, she probably could have been saved. The soul tie guide in the cabinet. Someone was definitely planning on doing something with that. Binding a soul to an object. Thinking about the possibility gives me the creeps. Though if you think about it, it's really not that different from the situation I'm in right now. It looks like I found everything there is to note down. Huh? That sounded like it came from the mirror. I should go take a look. It doesn't look like anything has changed. Why did we need a fade to black to teleport her over there? Seems kind of weird. Probably, maybe because you're accounting for the fact that you could approach that board from multiple different angles, and you didn't want to put in a bunch of different move routes, so you just had her hop over here. Yeah, that could explain it. Huh? Why is the mirror suddenly... Can hear. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I do not want to be talking to whoever or whatever's been killing me. I don't get a choice, do I? Alright, speak your poison. And for the love of God, stop killing me. Ooh. Cloud. Well, I had a feeling. Alright, you know what? I know who it is, so I'm just gonna make a joke answer. I have no idea what I'm about to see. It has to be obvious. An ordinary girl like me, with no supernatural ability to speak of. Who else could be speaking to me? You're... me. Right? Okay, of course not. There's no way I'd be this mean to myself. Wow. What happens if I do it again? Okay, yeah. I just got punched by Cloud. You know you fucked up when that happens. Okay. Airi. It's you, right? Caught up in whatever soul time mess. And now stuck in this mirror. Trying to get me to fulfill whatever last desire it is so you can escape from limbo. It might be a little late, but it's nice to meet you at last. Are you able to talk at all? Yes, it's becoming clearer. In that case, what do you want from me? Sorry, there's no question mark there. What do you want from me? How blunt? Isn't it better to get straight to the point instead of going around in circles? Or should I say, loops? You should have gotten the gist of everything by now. What happened to me, how I died, and who did it. Emil, wasn't it? Yes. I don't want him to take my music. Please, stop him. Oh hey, you. Who are you? He says when he's halfway through a walk pose. What are you doing here? No one is supposed to be in here. This is my sanctuary, not some place for trespassers like you to parade around with your grimy hands. Looks like he wasn't the one who called for cleaning. Then who gave this job to Caden? But more importantly, please turn to face your attacker. Why are you still looking in the mirror? Who does he think he's accusing of having grimy hands? Me? That's what she's getting pissed about? You're not going to say anything? You little thief. How dare you? Ha! I've got you now, you little rat. Oh. I didn't know that the first time I get that I could have walked away. But yeah, there's a different way. Flub that one. Well, now I know who's going to come in and start running around. I better grab something useful. That microphone stand seems weighty enough. Yeah, but I'm going to go for the knife. I have no idea if this changes the ending or not. He's already after me. This time I'm going to get a head start. Oh, yep, alright. Well, yeah. Dev might want to put in a lock, add a switch when Emil is chasing you and just not have her able to examine anything else. Because, yeah, this is definitely not good. Well, there was a knife. Oh, alright. Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. Just go and grab this. What sort of weapon is it? Hold up, what do you think you're doing with that? Let's just talk this through. Like civilized people. After everything you've done, now you're trying to pull the victim card? Looks like it's time to take out the trash. And now you're the assailant. There you go. Good riddance. Irie. Thank you. Nothing much to thank me for. It was kill or be killed for me. Just like it was for you. At the very least, your name will get cleared. If I can, ask for one last favor. I can't make any guarantees, but I'll at least hear you out. It won't be difficult. I already put you through much worse. Can you mail a letter for me? A letter? Yes, my last song. It's hidden behind the mirror. Emil cared too much about how he looked to ever think of looking behind a mirror. There's no changing the fact that I've died. I've come to terms with it now. Again, this line could have fit in the last dialogue box, especially because Irie here does not have any facial expressions to change. But at the very least, I want to be remembered as an artist. Sure, that's pretty easy. Then I guess this is goodbye. I wish I could have met you sooner. It was fun seeing someone put up with all my selfishness. But maybe we were only ever fated to meet like this. I'm sorry, and thank you. She's gone. I should look for that letter. She said it was behind the mirror. Okay, can't examine it. It should be somewhere around here. Here it is. I'll tuck it away for safekeeping. It's all over, isn't it? A phone. It looks like it's coming from Emil. It should be somewhere around here. This number is... Hey. Luca, is that you? Seeing that you picked up, I bet you've taken care of that guy too. Why are you saying it like that? Kaidan. I thought you'd be a little more excited hearing my voice. I knew you'd do a good job. Wait, are you telling me you sent me here knowing this would happen? Don't say it like that. You know how busy I've been these days. Just needed a couple extra hands that help keep things running, you see. Oh yes, and that consists of letting me walk into a death trap. You're alive right now, aren't you? All's well that ends well. I had a little tip that there might have been a little supernatural activity here. Who else would I send but a cute maid to clean up the mess? I think Kaidan's taken a couple of steps and leaps in logic here. Supernatural activity, better send a maid. What? Okay, but know that I'm telling on you about how awful my boss is to me, and how I never get paid enough, and how I have to work overtime, and that I have to do his laundry from time to time. Wait. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, alright? Sorry, there's no L there. A right. I've got a reputation to think about too. What reputation? I'll make it up to you. 50% more? Come on, Luca. What about double? Okay, done. And put in a nice word for me with, that costs extra. No discounts for your boss? I'm technically freelancing. Okay, fine. How's the body? You make it sound like I killed him. He's knocked out. Send someone over to collect. Roger that. Huh? Why does it feel like I'm the one getting bossed around? Don't think too much about it. I'm going home now. So in short, she came in, she cleaned one bloodstain. So take the death trap aside. No, she came in, cleaned a bloodstain, and then drank some pesticide coffee. What was her job initially? But whatever. I guess it was to exercise the spirit. Weirdly enough. It feels like I've been here forever. Alright, I'll have someone pick you up soon. Good work today as well. I have one more errand to run, so you can take your time. And look at that, a new map. 30 minutes in this game. Finally have a new map. Well, there goes Irie's song. Whatever happens to it is beyond me, but I've done what I can. Death, huh? I wonder what happens when you finally cross that threshold. When you close your eyes and don't open them up to another chance at life. My time loops, so maybe we won't ever meet again. But maybe one day, when that day comes, I wonder if I'll be able to greet the end with open arms, again with no question mark. I know what dying feels like, but I don't actually know what death is. At the very least, I don't plan on dying again anytime soon, and hopefully I won't have to experience death for a while. Looks like my ride's here. The dead stay dead, and the living must continue to live. While I wonder which category I fall into, that's for another day when I walk through death's door. There it was. Roll credits right at the very end. So that was that. Death's door. And that was the end. So yeah, fun. I agree. That was fun. And remember, guys, this was... Hang on. Let me pull up the page here. So the dev has said this was their first RPG Maker project and their first game project ever. This is great. And this highlights the importance of, oh, your first game's not going to be all that great. Yeah, it's true. I don't see anything groundbreaking through Death's Door. The gameplay was, pretty standard. You walk around, you examine things. Tons of RPG Maker games have done that. But you know what? For a first project, your goal should not be to light the world on fire. Oh damn, this artist works for FlyQuest? What's FlyQuest? I'm guessing that's just some other game that the dev had been a part of. But yeah. I'm competing with someone aware of the existence of JMOOC. Yeah. But yeah, this was a good time. And it shows the importance of how a proper scope can make your first game something... you can lay a simple groundwork and then just have fun doing the stuff that you want to do. While you're learning the engine, while you're first learning how to make games, set a small scope. This game takes place over the course of 2 maps. 2. And that's all you need. And only one map only shows up during the epilogue. So, yeah. If you're learning the engine, if you're trying new RPG Maker, if you haven't touched game development before, that's okay. Learn to scope small, because then you can make the next Through Death's Door. So, strong points was definitely Luca, which, granted, if your entire game follows one protagonist with zero meaningful interaction with any other characters, you better have a fun protagonist worth following around. And you know what? This game does. I can just say that right now. Luca is fun to wander around with and see her perspective on things. So that's 2 thumbs up for that. But yeah, the gameplay was pretty simplistic, but again, doesn't have to be complicated. My issue with this was that the fact that the game basically solves itself. There's not really much point of a mystery game when the mystery is solved for you. True, I did have the option to identify the ghost at the end, which, actually, you know what? Hang on. What happens if I make the wrong choice? So while we're doing that. But, yeah. And you know what? There's an interesting visual style here, too. I didn't expect that. You didn't have to do any of this. You didn't have to have this cool overlay with the character picture right there. It was one of those other weird things is like, yeah, okay. There's more effort put into the visuals than I've seen in other RPG Maker games. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because again, different devs want to focus on different things. When you're first starting out, everyone's got different starting points. There's no shame in not having a distinct visual layout like this for your first game. But this is what the dev wanted to focus on, and I think that's respectable. Of course, it just makes sense. The boxes, the coat, and everything scattered around. A passion-driven love drama where 2 lovers couldn't bear to be apart any longer. You must be Emil. And you get smacked. Right away. Wow. You get smacked quicker by identifying her as Emil more than making the joke character, the joke that you're yourself. Okay, I guess not. Don't hit me. Let me just guess again. Yeah, there we go. So the mystery does not, solve. The mystery solves itself. You have no option to change the ending. Actually, I think it would be kind of interesting if all 3 of these options turned out to be true, and like the identity of the ghost would change depending on which one you picked. That would add more interactivity to this interactive story. But it doesn't do that, and I don't think that's necessarily a fault in the game. Right. I know I was talking about how you need to put more interactivity with the game, but what we have here is just fine. My biggest issue is that when Lucas starts drawing conclusions and playing the game for the player, that's when there are issues. But yeah, good job on this one. Again, be proud of the game that you made. It's simple, but you did your job well. I think you achieved what you set out to achieve. So, congratulations on that. So our next game, and the second one for the list, is also another game made by the dev. This was also the dev's first game, created for their first jam. All right, let me pull this up again, and then there you are. Okay. This one is a little bit different from the other one in that this is more of an RPG style game. As to what game it is, wait for it. This one is The Wizard Cat. And yes, it's just as it sounds. It's about a cat who is a wizard. So as soon as I read that premise, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm intrigued. Sometimes, you can't judge a book by the cover. I completely get that. But when you have a title called The Wizard Cat, I think there are some expectations that are being set right away. So, let's see what this seems like. The sound of a cat purring mixed with a snore can be heard, nearly drowning out the nearby conversation. Thank you again for agreeing to watch him while I'm gone. It's fine, just be careful. I know they are just slimes, but I've never seen so many before. Don't worry, I won't be gone too long. Just remember what to do if I don't seem to be coming back. Please don't talk like that. I know you won't leave us here. We will wait for you to get back. Alright, I'll be going now. Both of you behave until I get back. As the door opens and shuts, the mixed sounds of purring and snoring slowly fills the air again. Sometime later. Come on, this is a serious problem. I'm going to starve at this rate. You aren't going to starve. You still have food in your bowl. But I can see the bottom. And it's been almost 30 minutes since I ate. Yeah. I have a feeling that the dev is a cat owner. Because, yeah, you definitely understand how cats behave. This line right here absolutely proves that to me. Sometimes I wonder what Violet was thinking, letting you be able to talk. My human takes care of me. It's simple. She does anything I want, most of the time. She's not even a... How hard is it for cats to understand that elves and humans aren't the same? My human is my human. Because she's mine, that makes her my human. Why isn't she back yet? I know, she really should have been back by now. She's been gone for too long. Maybe we need to bring her back home. Alright, my fairy. Go open the front door for me. I'm not your fairy. I told you, it's dangerous outside right now. We'll have to wait until she gets rid of the slimes and comes home. But we've been waiting. If she doesn't come back, we'll have to go find her. Lunix, please, you are just a cat. We can't do anything about this situation. All you do is complain. It's time to hunt. All I need are those things my human uses. Things? What things are you talking about? Wait, come back here. This one, and this one, and this one. Lunix, what are you doing? Those are Violet's books. Should be an apostrophe there. My human told me one time that if I'm ever in trouble, I should use these books. Since she is the one in trouble, I figured it works the same. She said to open them like this, and... What was that light? Are you okay? Alright, I can tell that you're using... I think this is the Visustella text message window because, yeah, there are some terms in here that are automatically change the font color. Because I know I've been working with that myself. So I see that working. But that only really works when you're referring to elemental magic in this context. But here, this is just light, not necessarily light magic, so that's something to think about. It's not a big deal, it's just a tiny little issue. Wait, I sense magic power from you. Yeah, that's what my human said would happen. Now I can go save her. Are you serious? That's too dangerous. Enough waiting around, it's time to go. Using this, I can open the door myself. And now we start. A plant my human grows. She uses the berries for something. This feels like a bad idea. This is supposed to do something magical, but I just see myself. Yep, another plant that your human grows. My human sits here a lot and looks at herself before leaving. This is my human stuff. I don't really know how to open it. And this is the most cat line that you will ever hear from any cat protagonist. This is my human's bed. I sometimes let her sleep here. As soon as I read that my first time, I was like, yeah, okay. This dev absolutely owns a cat. Because this is exactly how cats think. The only thing that you're missing is the fact that cats are just as smug as they are stupid. So they will as a former cat owner myself, I can tell you, they are both smug and incredibly stupid. The smugger they are, the stupider they are. I used to have a cat that loves not only chasing its own tail, but just loves to run headfirst into walls. I don't know why. There was something wrong with this cat. I know. But yeah, he just kept like smashing headfirst into walls and just thinks that it was super fun. But yeah. Now, granted, I don't think most cats are that dumb. But yeah, it's very often that cats will misjudge the distance between jumps and then crash to the ground. Sometimes, like, cats have Napoleonic syndrome, where they will happily pick a fight with something like 10 times their size. That's just how it is. I wish I saw more of that here, but you know what? This is already just kind of a... You don't have to really nail it down here, but yeah, this is... You're playing as a cat who can cast magic. What kind of magic? Well, let's check that out. And this is going to be where I feel like I'm going to have a different stance than other people in the chat, because I have a weird relationship with this type of mechanic. So, if you disagree, feel free to say why. Just know that I'm right. But no, for real, it is what it is. But yeah, so Lunix can now use every elemental magic out there. Fire, ice, lightning, water, earth, wind, light, dark. What are we arguing about? Oh, there's no argument. I'm just right. But hey, Looney, how you doing? And healing. And you'll notice each one of them has a level. Each magic has their own type of level. Okay, fine. So what are these spells? Fire shot. Hurls a small ball of fire at the enemy. Ice shoots a small ball of ice at the enemy. Lightning shoots a small arc of lightning at the enemy. Shoots a small ball of water at the enemy. These are all basically the same skill over and over and over again. And this is a problem that I often see with spellcasters in a lot of RPGs. Because they think, oh, if I can just have a fire spell and an ice spell, a lightning spell, and they both are and they're all the same function attack. I personally find that incredibly boring. Because you have a lot of skills at your disposal, but you can't really, but they're all basically the same thing. It's like having 5 different flavors of basic attack. Is like, okay, yeah, you can say that you have several different skills for the character, but they don't fundamentally change how you approach battles. Now, this game does attempt to do something different, which is every single element has a corresponding status effect. So that is something that gives every spell a unique flavor. So props to you for that. Props to the dev for doing that. I would give them more prompts if I knew what each of these ailments actually did. I can hazard a guess, but burn status effect, like there's no universal definition for that. Sometimes burn acts as a poison, sometimes burn acts as, making your skin super sensitive so it increases damage types from different elements. Frostbite? Okay, well, what's frostbite do? It's not frozen, so I don't think I'm freezing the enemy in place. No clue. No clue what frostbite does. Drowned? Well, that just sounds like instant death. But that's not the case. Earth? Slowed. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. Floating? What does floating do? That sounds like it just makes you immune to Earth. But I say that's an attempt because we're about to find out how this works in practice. Lunix, wait. Okay, this time I can't figure that out. Why did you need a fade out there? You just had Lunix turn to the right. What is it now? I need to go. I know, and I know I can't stop you. But before you go, I need to show you how to fight. But I already know how to hunt. This isn't the same as hunting. I need to teach you how to use magic properly. I feel like I already know how to use it. You know how to cast it, but you need to learn the types. When you get into a fight, you'll have to aim for your opponent's weakness. Well, what is their weakness? They're all slimes, right? Slimes are magical, so you will find every type of slime. I'm sorry. No, that's not your Discord. Don't worry about it. You're good. Judges are just there having a ball, probably talking about me behind my back. But hang on, let me just turn streamer mode on. There we go. Okay, you guys can chat away. Do whatever it is you gotta do. Alright. Besides healing, there are 4 pairings of opposing elements. That doesn't sound too hard to remember. Fire and ice are the first pair of opposites. So if you see a fire slime, you should use an ice spell. So if you hit an enemy's plural weakness, you get an extra action. So this is basically like the Shin Megami Tensei press turn system. Except you only have one ally, which means you only get one extra action. What if I just use my favorite spell? You won't get an extra action, but unless it's the same element, it can work. But if you hit a fire slime with fire, it won't hurt it. A fire slime is also immune to the effects of fire, like burn. Again, this is a lot of front loading, but thankfully, I don't think we need to... Okay, listen. Here's the thing. When you develop a game, your target audience can be whatever you're trying to market your game to. I don't think RPG veterans, this may just be a stretch for me, but I'm assuming RPG veterans don't need the concept of elemental weaknesses explained to them. So if you're taking the time to explain the idea of use elemental weaknesses, that tells me that you're trying to gear your game more towards the casual players. People that don't play a lot of RPGs. Which is fine. I don't want to shame that. But that's the impression that gives me. A fire slime is also immune to the effects of fire, like burn. Okay, so just don't use the same thing. That should be easy. True. The other opposites besides fire and ice are like this. Lightning and water are opposites, earth and wind are too. And finally, there is light and dark. What if I forget any of this? Not that I ever forget things. I'll be behind you the best I can. I'll probably rest in places that look safe. You can just ask me in case you need help. Or, a better solution would just be to integrate that into your skill tree. Lunix, wait. Oh, come on. Again? What is it now? I know everything. Actually, I forgot to mention how you can get stronger. As you use spells, you will slowly level up that type of magic. Again, this is too much front loading. You can put this part right here at the beginning of the next map. And that's not a huge stretch because you're about to find out that these maps are actually pretty small. So dev, be wary of front loading too much mechanics on the players. Even if the concepts are super simple. If you have some level of intricacy here, like dumping all this at the player at the very start, I promise you most of it is not going to stick. If you guys are anything like me, you all learn by doing things rather than having things explained to you. And trust me, after judging like 80 plus games, people front loading some of these concepts onto me is very tiring because like I understand, I know how it is. Again, granted, these games were not made for me specifically. I get that. But even if they weren't, it's very easy to just have some of these tutorials just... Oh god, I gotta sneeze. Fuck. Oh, that's the worst. That is the worst when you have to sneeze and then you just don't sneeze. Oh, man. Yeah, so regardless, if you front load the player with too much information, I promise you they're not going to remember all of it. Best to seed the information through little by little as you go along. So anyway, use more spells, you'll level up that magic. Casting fire spells will make you level up your fire magic. How often does that happen? Is it a lot of work? I would say casting it 5 times will work. After that, it depends on the skill. But usually the more it costs, the fewer you need to cast. So maybe just focus on your strongest spells. Okay, I get it. I'm going now. I'll explain what the fire crystals do in just a second. Let's go check out over here. Oh, this place has more of the plants and some shiny things. This is where Violet was doing most of her magical experiments. She's been studying how to grow crystals imbued with magic. It's difficult, but she's been finding ways. What do those crystals do? Can I use them? Yes, in fact, it would be a good idea. Using them will make you more familiar with a specific type of magic. It can be faster to learn than simply casting spells. So I should keep an eye out for them. They sound really useful. Normally, they are really rare. That's why this research was so important, but I'm sure you can find more outside. Take the dark crystal, then the light crystal. Okay, now, finally, after 15 minutes of intro and tutorials, we can finally play the game about a cat wizard. Now here's the gameplay. You see these slimes? You run into them and then you fight. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have a drain skill, which is very good in theory, but I've never actually needed to use it. Magic. Let's just pick one, for example. So there's an earth slime and a lightning slime. Okay, well, we know the relationship. So earth, use wind against the earth. Bang. And now we get one more turn. Yeah. So, after turn 1, I feel like I understood what this game was all about. And I have some things I want to bring up. So, you can only cast one spell at a time, right? Now, that means that we are playing the match key to lock game that I find very boring when it comes to elemental weaknesses. There is a mechanic change in that you get an extra turn when attacking a weakness. However, essentially all you're doing is just picking an elemental spell. This is not challenging. And there are so many different elements that it gives you the illusion of depth. Because every element has a unique state associated with it. But those states do not fundamentally change your game plan, which is match key to lock. So we got another turn. Let's see. We have... So this was a lightning one, right? Lightning, okay. Which means I have to use water. And there we go. We get another turn. And then the second part is, boy, does it wear on you over time when you realize that you did everything right. You hit the elemental weaknesses, but your enemies always have just that one sliver of health that forces you to spend another turn using Water Shot, using your elemental spell. So the question you have to ask is, why 3 times? Well, as a designer, that would tell me because the game wants you to get one extra spell use to get more XP, to level up a little bit faster. But that comes at the cost of really slowing down the pace of the game. So you have to think to yourself, why in the world do you want to spend an extra turn just taking something down that spend a turn throwing out another spell that you don't need to do when you've already demonstrated you know how elemental weaknesses work? Just kill them. Just kill them. There's no reason to be like this. See, that's frustrating. It's just like, come on, man. Just let me go. Just let me win. Just let me win the fight. If you really want it, you can adjust the numbers accordingly. You can adjust the amount of EXP you receive by reducing the health of enemies, and then the numbers all match at the end of the map anyway. Which this further reinforces my earlier assertion that this game was made for the casuals. For the filthy, filthy casuals. Because look at all these slimes. They are not attacking you, they're just doing their thing. You are free to attack them or just move on. That's not a bad thing. Again, I want to stress that. But this tells me that this is a game meant for grinding. So when you factor in all the ideas of all these enemies, you're not required to kill all of them because this is a very open map and it's very easy to get past them. The fact that it takes 3 spells to take down enemies when they have just like one tiny sliver of health left, when it would have been very easy to just bump down their HP like 10% or something. That tells me that this is a grinder's game. So, okay, fair enough. Just FYI, I despise mindless grinding. I would rather just learn the game and then move on. And then if I wish to grind, then I would have that should be an option, but I don't like the idea of the game replacing depth with grinding, because that to me smacks of the dev being unable to design interesting boss fights or interesting mechanics. So you get stronger by just doing the same thing over and over and over again. I just find that boring. Now, for some casual players, that like brainless grinding might actually be a good solace. It's a good way to just kind of wind down. I don't know why I'm avoiding enemies when I could be talking about this stuff, but so again, it's all about deciding what you want to market your game to. Either one is valid. Oh, hello. Shocked. Turns 3. Okay. Still not going to tell me what Shock does. Alright. Thank you for the tooltip, but I think we figured that out when we looked at the icon right there. Yeah, see? Oh my god, that's so frustrating. It's just like, the magic pixel is only hype because it happens to the player, not to the enemies. Alright, so then we move on. So, in that case, the question I have to ask, if this is a game that was meant for mindless grinding, what is the point of these crystals? Because they are just instant bypasses to the grinding. Use to gain 8 fire XP. Okay, great. Lightning crystals. Gain 8 lightning XP. And this is how you level up. So your character does not get experience. But whenever one of your elemental types levels up, then so does your character. So I leveled up lightning magic and I learned a new skill, lightning swirl. And yeah, that's how I level up. So level 2. One reason I like on-screen encounters is that it gives me a set number of enemies to beat. With random encounters, you can grind endlessly without knowing what the game intends for you to beat number-wise. That's true until you exit the screen and then go back in, when all the enemies spawn back in. In my opinion, of course, the game should be balanced in such a way that if you don't have to go out of your way to fight. But if you don't run away from every fight that you come across, in my opinion, as long as you understand the mechanics of the game well enough, you should be fine. Because if you go too hard in the other direction, like if you have... Listen, we all love the old school, the golden era of RPGs, right? But one reason why I've always hated when games keep calling back to that is because I distinctly remember those types of RPGs replacing mechanical depth with just the need to grind. So there's nothing special about the mechanics, but in order to beat the game, you have to spend hours running up and down a high encounter rate, fighting enemies and leveling up your party. And I say this as somebody who was born after the golden era of RPGs, right? I went back and played some of them, and a lot of them had that problem. I'm especially looking at you, Final Fantasy IV. I'm sure you were a great game at the time, but holy shit, that final boss was, ugh. I had to spend freaking, like, hours just going up and down one area in the final dungeon just to beat the final boss. And I was not running away from encounters. But a lot of games were like that. So, in my opinion, as long as you don't run away from fights and just fight everything in your way, you should be okay for every fight, for every boss. So that's independent of whether or not it's random encounters or on-screen encounters. And again, I will die on this hill. Random encounters are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I love the Etrian Odyssey games, and despite the fact that those games have a reputation of grind fests, I never really understood that. Granted, I never played on the super high difficulties, but whenever I played an Etrian Odyssey game, I just never ran from fights. I fought everything that I came across. I did all the side quests. I did all the requests. Just fought everything. I never had to grind. Ever. So I'm just like, why the hell does this game have a grindy reputation? It's just a matter of learning and understanding the game's mechanics. So for a game like Wizard Cat, it's like, hey, all your understanding of the mechanics begins and ends with your ability to match your key to the lock. These status effects would be cool. They would be important. If A, I knew what the hell they even did, and B, if they somehow fundamentally changed my approach to battles. Unfortunately, neither of those are true. Also, by the way, don't think you missed that. Another weird thing about this game, well, I say weird, but... Okay, so right now that's an ice and then a light slime. Now it's a different enemy. So even on-screen encounters, the enemies are randomized. Which is a neat touch. I appreciate that. But at the same time, what's the point of having... I feel like if you're going to have randomized on-screen encounters, that's perfectly fine. But I kind of wish at least one slime that you encountered on the field was at least a battler in battle. I ran into a purple slime on the field, and that's what it came across as. So this was a fire slime, so we use ice. And this is the entire depth of the game. Oh, that's a fire slime? Use ice. That's it. And because of the one extra action of the one more turn, you are even further de-incentivized, if that's not a word, it is now, to experiment and use different status ailments, because you want to do more damage and you want to kill them quickly. But yeah, that's what it is. Now, thankfully, every map has this well that immediately restores your health and magic. So that's good. But then, once again, I have to ask, if you think the game is a super grind fest, why are you including shortcuts like this? I appreciate the shortcuts as someone who despises mindless grinding in games, but it smacks to me that this is a symptom of a larger problem. Whereas like, okay, you know this game's a grind fest, but you're still on board with it anyway. I was like, The one exception to these ailments being the dark magic, which is a chance to inflict instant death, which I think is great for light slimes. Because that's just, well, when it works. Oh, Dark Swirl. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now we can just hit everybody. Yeah. So I just follow this path, right? There are many slimes to fight. It's getting worse than earlier. You might want to try avoiding them. You don't have to fight everything you see. But I have to, though, because I need to use all my powers. I need to use all my magic. I have a lot of different trees of magic that I need to level up. Ugh. Don't I need to practice to get stronger, though? Well, yes, also. Although, I can sense more crystals in this forest. Far more than normal. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's related. So I can just hunt for those? That might be faster. Let's keep going, though. Violet needs us. Oh, this is the first time you've called her by her name. Every time up to this point, you've just called her "you're human." Okay, so now I'm getting a bit of mixed messages here. Do you want me to fight enemies or do you not? Because the first map, you were like, you spent all this time teaching me how to fight. And then this second map, you're like, oh, JK, actually, you could just bypass the slimes. Because it would be faster to just find the, Yeah, it's ice, right? Yeah. It would just be faster to fight, to find the crystals and use those. Excuse me, what? Oh, I'm stupid. I used... Yeah, okay. One thing that definitely tripped me up, and this is definitely a personal thing, but I'm so used to the icon, the selection icon being on the left side of Windows, and this game has it on the right, which means my brain parses this as the right, as... You know, I think a part of my brain thinks that magic is selected right now, but no, it's drained. Yes, that is entirely my problem, but it's still a problem for me. Oh yeah, and look at that. Still can't do it. Alright. Well then, we have... Lightning. Lightning Swirl. So I'm seeing a little bit of the vision here, because now that we've unlocked AoE, we now are able to make fights a little more easier on us. Which I think would be nice if the game kind of rewarded that, but because if enemies hit really hard, you would be encouraged to find ways to defeat them quicker, which means getting creative with your spell usage. But at the same time, that would go against the idea of this being a mindless grinder. But if this is a mindless grinder, it's just kind of weird to have these crystals that bypass the grinding. And the game seemingly encouraging me to bypass the grinding by using the crystals. So it's like, at this point, I'm like, I'm not even sure what the game wants from me. I'm not even sure what is the way to play this game. I mean, there are ways I can play this game. But it's weird to think that I don't know if I'm doing this right. Whoa, this place. It's making my fur stand up. The land ahead looks like it's being drained. Like something is sucking up all the life. I don't like this feeling at all. And I can see a bigger slime ahead too. It's probably stronger than normal. I've honestly never seen anything like it. Make sure you use the mana well to rest up and prepare. I forgot to ask, what are those? The water inside is really refreshing. Why don't you fill my water ball with that? They are ancient wells. Nobody can make them anymore, and the source it pulls the mana from isn't clear either. Now that you can use magic, they can refresh your powers. It tastes good. From now on, make sure I always get that instead of my water. Not even asking, it's just like, no, from now on, just do that. Always. Which I appreciate. This is definitely a cat. A real cat. Also, just a small note there. I'm sure you heard that audio issue. Dev, when it comes to bosses, change the boss music before you start the battle. So that way you don't have to change the music mid-battle again. Because yeah, that is weird. Evolving water slime. Alright, so this is just lightning. There you go. Okay. And then there it is. This is a boss fight. It's just do the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's like, alright, sure. In fact, hang on, let me check the damage here. 128. Okay. Oh, no. Look at that. It just nullified Earth. Whatever will I do? I sure hope that doesn't change my strategy at all. Of all the elements to nullify, why are you not nullifying the one that the slime is weakest to? That makes zero sense. Because that would actually force you to adapt. You know, try out some different spells. Maybe inflict some different ailments. Something to break you out of the mold of matching key to lock, like what we've been doing up till now. Oh, and Lightning Shield. That absorbs all lightning damage for 3 turns. Good idea in theory. I've never really needed to use it. Sad. Wait. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. Hold on. There's a lot of magical energy in here. I thought you said the land was dying, like it didn't have anything in it anymore. It's not the land. There's more crystals in here. A lot. And they are even stronger than normal. That's a good thing, right? It makes things easier for me. Well, yes, but it's not normal at all. You don't just find this many laying around, and not in one place. Elemental weaknesses were a good mechanic back in Final Fantasy days. Now it needs a little more iteration. I was gonna say, I don't think there's anything wrong with elemental weaknesses as by itself. You know, I'm a big fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and that game is all about elemental weaknesses. But there's also a mechanical difference added to that, in that you gain extra turns when you strike a weakness or land a critical hit. But if you strike something that they're nullified to, then you lose extra turns. But the same thing also applies to the enemies, so that dramatically changes the flow of battle and requires you to figure out different party combinations to keep a wide variety of demons with different attacks and resistances, so you can adapt on the fly. No such depth exists here. You get 1 extra turn. That's about it. So yeah, you are right that elemental weaknesses are a good mechanic, but they need more to it. I think this game tried to do something different with that. The fact that you can only have 1 party member means that it's kind of rough. Slimes here feel stronger too, just be careful, okay? And when I saw that every single element had its own, like, experience, even healing. I don't think I've used healing magic once, due to the abundant nature of those wells. Right. But yeah, with all these different spells, I was starting to feel a little dismayed, because I was like, oh my god, you actually expect me to just grind all these skills out? And yeah. Luckily, those crystals exist. But again, the crystals feels like a band-aid solution. I get that they are integrated into the story, and I think that's great. But yeah, they really need... I as a mechanic though, I feel like it's just a band-aid solution. It's a cat. Hey Rhyme, welcome in. How you doing? Yes, this game is called The Cat Wizard, and it's just as it sounds. Okay, now we have another boss fight. This looks like a dark elemental enemy. Monster Dark Slime. Great. Level 10. Alright. Level 2, Light Swirl. Excellent. I just got AoE. Now, to the game's credit, when it was giving, at this stage in the game, when it was giving me different skills, I was actually excited. I was like, ooh, okay. So we have different skill. We have a single target, we have an AoE, and then we have a shield skill. Okay, what's the next one going to be? So I was actually kind of excited when I was going through this because I was like, okay, we're learning new skills, we're gaining new options in battle. So this was a good start. But this game also does something else that I've always found to be kind of obnoxious. Holy crap, come on, hurry up. And we'll get to that when we get there. Well, I'll talk about it when we get there. I'm sorry, did it just hit itself? Actually, you know what? I should use the AoE spell because I'm going to get more experience that way. Yeah, let me do that. I forgot about that. Even though I don't need to, because this is an AoE spell. Okay, wait, that's 49. And then the single target is 52. Ew. Ew. Wait a minute. I hate that even more. 54. And then 80. Okay, 86. Alright, I was... Wait, do these skills get stronger when I level them up? $84. Oh, okay. The magic attack does increase with spell level. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, large dark energy crystal found. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Look at all these crystals. Yeah, alright. And then... Whoops. So, I think... So, again, I'm not really sure what would be a better solution to these because... Again, if the game really was trying to go for the mindless grindfest, then what this setup here is doing is actually just fine. It's perfectly adequate for those that like that type of game. As I do not, it's hard for me to gauge whether or not this works well. That's just something that I've been struggling with. Ah, piss off. I've already done all this once. I don't really want to do it again because I'm mostly just showcasing this game, so it's fine. Okay, moving on. This place is cold, really cold. My fur does help though. This isn't normal at all. I don't just mean how cold it is. Even this area is just so big. It feels like the cave before I had accidentally dug. It feels like the cave before had accidentally dug into here. The magic here is so strong, even I can feel it. The slimes look bigger too, and I feel more crystals. I feel like the cold is a side effect from how much magical energy is gathered here. Now that we are this far in, it feels like all the energy is being pulled this way and condensing. I don't really know what that means. Use words Violet taught me. Again, it's you're human, not Violet. Your human is beneath you. You don't need to dignify your human by using its name. I think these slimes are absorbing the magic and getting stronger. Just remember to be careful. Yeah, we kind of figured that when the slime started increasing in size. Yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Yeah. Now the good news is this doesn't actually act like an ice dungeon, so no slippery tiles, which I am eternally grateful for. Piss off! Okay, fine, I can take you. So that is a lights. Okay, that's a dark slime and a wind slime. Alright. Get wrecked. And then let's do wind and then earth. Nova hates slippery tiles. Good to know. I mean, no, slippery tiles are great. You don't need to take anything I'm saying as gospel rhyme. Definitely, because I know the type of games that you're trying to play, that you're trying to make. And yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine. No, slippery tiles are great, even. Yeah, I love them. But yeah, this is what we're doing, though. Not exactly exciting. Especially because I have one of the skills is blind. Yeah, light inflicts blind. So if everybody's blind, then they're not going to hit me, which makes this already pretty easy game even easier. Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about while I was thinking about, what I said earlier about, you know, how to offload some of that front-loaded tutorials. I said that you can put in the description of the tree, of each tree, what it's weak, what it's strong to. Fire magic, strong against ice. Ice, strong against fire. That's the constant reminder that you need, and you don't even have to seek out the fairy. Which, by the way, has anybody been able to see it? Because I haven't. Yeah, where's the fairy that will remind me about the elemental weaknesses? I don't see anything. Actually, you know what? The boss is just kind of hunting me. Can I just bypass him? Ah, it's dangerous for me to leave that big slime alone. I should go handle it before I go. You know what? That's good. That's smart. You shouldn't let me bypass the bosses like this. So yeah, good job, game. Yeah. And then that was ice, so it has to be fire next. I made 25 minigames, but no slippery tiles or pressure plates. Good. Good, good, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we just get to do this over and over and over again. I'm sure this would be a lot easier. This would be a lot easier. Holy crap, I'm about to die. I don't think I've actually died in this game yet. So let's not make today being that first time, yeah? That is pathetic healing. I didn't save, did I? When was the last time I saved? Can I run away? I can, in fact, run away. That's awesome. Whoa! You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate you just give me the freedom to run away from every fight. From even boss fights. Bruh. Okay, fine. I'll deal with you. Or not. Actually, I have to. So. Okay, you are. That is a fire, right? So I need to use ice. Yeah, it's fire. I don't know. Why would that slime be someone else's problem? Yeah, but as a gameplay mechanic, I understand it. Sometimes, like, you need checkpoints at some point. And, you know, boss fights like these serve as very adequate checkpoints. Oh, that's lightning, not light. Whoops. Okay, well, instant death. Great. I appreciate that. You gotta be able to make good excuses as a dev. Well, I mean, boss fights serve as a good checkpoint for how strong you're getting. You know, for a grind fest like this, and depending on how easy it is to avoid fights, you don't want to put a barrier right in the player's way at the very end, being like, oh, I gotta spend like hours grinding now just to get myself back up. Granted, I still consider that a problem of the nature of grindfest games in general. But I think boss fights like these are a good way to kind of gauge how well you're doing. So that's lightning, right? So I need water. Yeah. Alright, so we do healing. Get wrecked. And then let's go for another water. Look how much MP I'm regaining. Like, that's crazy. It's almost to the point where it's like, what's the point of even having MP at all? Because I'm spending so much time restoring, like, just throwing out strong spells, and I'm not even getting close to being down on an MP. Alright, and then swirl. And then one more water swirl. Oh, I fully heal upon level up. Oh no, this is blessed, I think. I think? I don't know exactly. Bruh. You know what? I think I'm good. You know, I was going to go back and heal anyway, but I guess I don't need to do that anymore. Okay, now I just have to have some fun with all these crystals that I got. Alright, yeah. And that's where things get tedious. Because you can only use one crystal at a time. Oh boy. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Let me out. Bruh. Let me out! Bruh! Let me out! Fine, fine. Alright, I'll deal with your game. Alright, that's a light, so let me try dark, and hopefully I can get some instant kills. Okay, well there's one. You know what? Screw it. Maybe I can do... Maybe I can go for it again. Die, 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 die. Aw. There we go. And then, whatever. I think it's more certain to just go for the damage. Alright, let me out. Let me out! Please! Okay, there we go. Now, let me just continue all that to resume my crystal spamming. Look at all the levels that I'm gaining now. Which would probably just be better if I just gained more experience by fighting the enemies. Because I don't like the idea that I'm just bypassing so much of what this game was trying to do. But you know what? Again, it's always worth remembering this is the first game that this dev actually did. So because of that, I don't want to go too hard on it. But I do just want to highlight the issue that I see with games like these. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be... It's just... matching key to lock. I think we can do better. Now, we should do better. Because this, otherwise this is the gameplay that we have. Which is just spamming crystals. But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out, like, how would you do this differently? Because if you want to keep the core grinding, if you want to keep like the core of this gameplay being a grind fest, there isn't a whole lot that you can really change. Plus, technically, this game really isn't that hard that we've seen right now. So I can see the thing. For a first game, at least you are not spamming attack. Not that it's that much better, but it's something. Well, there's no attack command to spam. Drain just drains MP from a foe. It doesn't do HP damage. But you are right that it is not, like, it is still generally the same idea. It's like, here's your basic attack, here's Earth Shot. Okay, now we've learned a few extra spells. So Earth Shot, okay, then we learn Earth Swirl, which is the AoE. Then we learn Earth Shield. Okay, so that's, you know, a defensive skill. Okay, what's the next one that we learn? Earth Ball. Oh. So it's literally just Earth Shot, but stronger. Okay, well, there goes the idea of each new skill giving me more strategy. No, it's just replace your older skill. And then there's Earth Tornado, which is just Earth Swirl. So, tough Winston. Which, granted, that's a really strong skill, but man. But yeah, always worth remembering, this is the first game. Some things we will learn. Time will give us experience. Time and feedback gives us experience, and then we'll just learn how to make better games. But again, though, I've seen a lot of games try to put a lot of custom work into their first projects, and they end up just crashing and burning. The fact that this game is playable is actually really good. Okay, so I got Wind Bell, so I think, yeah, Wind Swirl. I want to do... it didn't kill. Okay, oh, it did kill. Okay, good. Okay, what are you? Are you ice or water? I can't tell. Ice. Okay, so fire. I've been working on my first project for about 5 years. I got you. It can happen. So the thing about first projects, working on any project for that length of time, especially when you're amateurs, is that as you learn more about game design and game development, you find what you have currently no longer adequate. Or maybe you're getting everything perfectly right your first try, because I am not. I do not. And so you go back and you try and fix it and make it better. Fix the problems that you see. And then as you do that, you keep learning more, and then you find other problems in other places. And then it just becomes a cycle of pain and misery. So the beauty about game jams is that you have a hard deadline. It's like, no, doesn't matter what you've learned, what you've not learned, stops right here. And then you can always expand on it later after the jam is over. But as it is right now, yeah, that's a good way to kind of get you to fast track the process of follow through. The fast track the discipline that you need to finish a game. So props to the dev for actually finishing it. Hold on, I hear something. It's Violet. I hear her singing. This song sounds like the Song of Sealing. She's probably using magic to repeat it. So she's nearby? We need to find her. She hasn't even rubbed my belly today. Wait, this place is really dangerous. The magic is so strong here it makes me dizzy. I can see structures too, but I don't think we can get in. I think these might be ancient ruins. We'll just ignore those then. It doesn't feel like she's inside any of them. I think I can sense her along this path. The slimes here feel even stronger than normal. I mean, really strong. Remember, you can always run away, okay? Just stay near the well if you need to. I don't like the idea of being told that, hey, running away is an option in a game that is meant for grinding. It's like, eh. Yeah, I want to fight the enemies, you know? But granted, it looks like, you gain experience. You don't gain experience by winning the battles. So that's always a plus. Some jams even focus on continuing fixing your existing game. Granted, that one is much rarer. Well, I mean, technically speaking, Rhyme, you're doing that as well. All of your entries in your Attack On series are just iterating on your previous ideas. And in my completely unbiased opinion, each one is getting better. So, yeah. These slime enemies are very cute, though. I love the idea of, like, big muscle men slimes. I was like, that's not how that works. But, yeah. I definitely remember Rhyme's game. Rhyme's games have a very distinct style to them. It would be very hard to forget a Rhyme game. Oh, come on. Just die already. I gave you... That was 400 damage. There we go. Alright, and with all that done, let us move on to the end. I think... Actually... Oh, well, there we go. I was about to say, I actually think we're about to the end of this game. Which is great, because we're almost at time, at my normal stream time. I genuinely thought You know what, guys? Don't ever let me say that this is going to be a short stream ever again, because every time I say that, it seems to either go on just as long as usual or longer. These games are short, man. Like, I beat these in like 30 minutes. I didn't think I needed the whole 3 hours. I'm just terrible at time management, it seems. Reward, and then, come on. Ooh, I leveled up twice. Very nice. Whole 3 hours? Is this the only game you showcase on stream? No, this is the second game that I showcased on stream. What are these mana? Oh, restores 25% of your mana and health. Okay, there we go. So it's 100% of your mana and health. Okay, there we go. I was wondering, like, I do not need mana recovery. That has been super easy. But I guess sometimes it's like, yeah, okay. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let me look at my save file. Yeah, my first... This is, again, if anyone needs more proof as to why I don't stream the judging process, this is why. This was my save file right before beating the game last time. And this is my save file now, where I fought fewer battles, I ignored more enemies, and I already knew what I was doing. And I spent double the time talking about this. Imagine how long it would take me if I were streaming these games as the judging process. As part of the judging process. I'd never beat a single game in this whole stream. That's just the nature of the Nova Yap. Yeah. Why did we need the Fade to Black twice? That was weird. Was it because you needed to make sure that I teleported to the right spot? You could have done that in one single Fade to Black. Hey, Violet. Not sure why you're sleeping and singing at the same time? Okay. She seems to be sleeping. Should I lay on her? She usually wakes up after that. Yeah, lay on her face. Yeah, just lay on her face. Block out all airways. Don't worry, you'll wake her up. She's exhausted. Use healing magic to help her. Oh, that makes sense. Violet, wake up. Huh? I feel better. Violet! Lunax, what are you doing here? You weren't coming home, and I was going to starve. My fairy wouldn't feed me either. You had plenty of food. We were both worried because you were gone for so long. Lunax ended up using some books you left him to learn magic. Those books? For emergencies? So you learned magic and you used it to get past the slimes? Yeah, I figured out how to use certain spells. Then I would just use the right spell depending on their color. Which is hilarious, actually. I'm sure the dev didn't think about this, but I was curious, so I looked it up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Cats actually do not see the full range of colors. In a sense, they are colorblind as well. So a cat, I think it was like red and blue colorblindness. I'll have to double check that, but shades of blue, green. Yeah, red, blue, green. Yeah, because they have dichromatism in cats. But yeah, so that's just based on what we know so far. So it is kind of weird. Yeah, it is kind of weird for, I believe almost all animals see fewer colors than humans. Yeah, but I just thought that was, I don't want to say it was a missed opportunity, but I do think that would be fun to kind of explore how a cat would see colors. I don't know if that's something that the dev even considered and just decided, you know what, screw it. But it would also give you an excuse to use fewer elements. which would make the game feel less grindy. But then again, if you were aiming for a grindy game, then maybe that's against your philosophy. If you are judging on stream, we'd need to treat every game like Pitch Friday, a single 4-hour stream for each game. Oh no. Except I couldn't do that, Rhyme. As a judge, I can only play 1 hour of each game. So that means I would have a whole list of incomplete games, which I don't want to disrespect devs by doing that. I want to try and get as far as I can in games, so that's why I wanted to play these games off stream. But yeah, I can't believe you put yourself in that kind of danger. Then again, I ended up needing the help anyway. Thank you, Linux. I'll be sure to reward you when we get back. Great. Can we go home now? I'm hungry. Well, no, we can't leave yet. I was staying here to keep something dangerous sealed away. Is it related to all the slimes? I can feel so much magic ahead. I don't think I could go inside. I mean, it's not like you were helping anyway, so it's fine. Behind me is an ancient structure, a mana spring. All the mana wells are connected to it, moving in small amounts. Oh right, the tasty water. I need that in my water bowl from now on. Why are you keeping a seal on it? It doesn't seem like a problem itself. The problem is what found its way inside. A slime. What's the problem? Can't you just get rid of it? Slimes get stronger as they absorb magical energy. When the slime found its way into these ruins that had been sealed off for so long, it transformed into something even I can't handle. To prevent it from getting out, or more from getting in, I put up a seal, but I had to stay close to keep out. Is that why mana was flowing this way? With the source of the area... Stupid. Sorry about that. With the source of the area's mana cut off, I guess it's creating a whirlpool sort of effect. I don't really get what that means. How do we get rid of it then? Violet, you won't like the suggestion, but I think Lunix can take care of it. What? I'm not going to send him in there. He's just a cat. Hey, I'm a very good cat. I made it here, right? Lunix was a lot more capable than I thought. He's honestly gone above and beyond my expectations. Fuck! I forgot about that line! We were so close too! We were so close to getting through this game without having that phrase thrown at me. But you know what? Fine. Because at least it was just once. There were a lot of RPG Maker games that were trying so hard to hammer that theme in, where they were just like putting it in like every other dialogue box. And I swear, I hear the phrase beyond expectations in my sleep now. Like I close my eyes and I see those two words just burned into my eyelids. Anyway, I think his magic might be enough to handle it. I really don't like this idea, but I can also feel how strong your magic is. Nova swore, there's no timer up. Last time it was invoked was 3 hours ago. It's fine. Okay, I'll trust you. But remember, you should run if it seems too difficult. We can try again when you feel more ready. I'm going to put a blessing on you. It will protect you from the death effect. From what I've seen, it can use every type of offensive magic. Does this mean I was susceptible to death this entire time? That sounds like a pain. But I think I can deal with it. Just let me know when you're ready. I won't stop you. But I do think you should have... Well, if you are level 9 in any type of magic, that should be enough. I'll go take care of it. Then we can go home and you can rub my belly. Perfect cat dialogue. Now, let's see. I have level 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8. Alright, well just FYI, I was able to beat the game last with only level 7 skills. Because, I mean, due to the nature of the enemy, I was actually able to level up all the way to level 9. Yeah. Don't cats hate it when you rub their belly? Sometimes. When they lay on their back, sometimes it's a false invitation. But no, like, if a cat loves you enough, if they open up to you enough, yeah, they're totally fine with you rubbing their bellies. Remember, don't be afraid to run if you have to. Alright, we're good. Wow, this place makes my fur stand up. That must be it. It really does look different than the others. I don't sense any weaknesses either, but I'll take care of it either way. It looks exactly the same as every other slime. Okay, but sure. Alright, so because I have level 7s all across the board, it now becomes a question of what skill that I want to use, what ailment that I want to use. So I ended up going with blind, because it means that he just can't hit me. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, that's his thing. It keeps transforming. So it has several phases to it. But this is just a fight. Just throw everything you have at it. There's no point in using barrier spells because it can use every type of magic, so that means you can't really prepare. So all you can really do is just go on the offense. But yeah, this boss is kind of lackluster because I like the idea of the slime like regenerating and gaining new spells. But that's, again, the fundamental problem that I have with these types of games is literally just find match key to lock and just do that over and over and over again. There's no depth, there's no strategy involved, it's just throw everything you have at it. And it will be enough. Whoops, that was the wrong one. I can't remember if there was a command remember feature. I should have enabled that. Solo Pro Tag is tricky to make. It's certainly not something that you can rely on default mechanics. Oh, by the way, leveled up again. Because yeah, the default RPG Maker battle system was built around the idea of having a party. So if you're not going to do that, that's fine. But then, it's without some serious mechanical changes, it's going to be a snooze fest. And unfortunately, the regular boss, the other fights up to this point, at least they ended quickly. Unfortunately, this is the final boss, and if the game tried to tell you to approach this with a level 9 spell, that was the wrong spell anyway. That if you tried to approach it with with the magic level that they wanted, there's nothing to really grind for anymore. Which means that all you're doing is just throwing out skill after skill after skill, and it just gets boring. So while I like the idea behind the boss, I think the system mechanics do not really support this type of fight. Because yeah, this is just all that we're doing. I get that I'm under-leveled technically, but 39 out of 80, I won't be under-leveled for long. I see a lot of devs making a solo protag, but turn-based RPGs are made for having control over your whole party. Solo protag is perfect for ARPGs. Counterpoint, A Ghostly Rose by ZDS, a game built for a solo protagonist. Also counterpoint, the game that we played last time on this stream, The Copper Knight. Yes, you could have a party, but it was built for first and foremost for a single character. There are ways you can do it. I don't think it's a turn-based RPG thing by itself. It absolutely can be used. You can absolutely have a solo party member and do just fine for RPGs. Yeah, at least solo protag needs to use ATB, so a single protag can feel like a whole party wouldn't have enough agility. Again, that is one option. I don't think it needs... ATB is not the sole solution. The thing is, that is a solution, but it's not the sole one. The thing about creative projects like this is that there's very rarely one single solution to get this to work. There are often multiple solutions. And because there are multiple solutions... Okay. Yeah, because there are multiple solutions, there's not really one right one. There we go. So it all boils down to what the dev wants to get out of the game that they're making. If they don't have the vision to back up their ideas, right? If they don't have the mechanical knowledge or the experience of developing a game with a solo party member, then their vision of having a solo party member RPG is going to flop. And the frustrating part is, and that's why I wanted to highlight this game specifically, because I can see the vision. I can see what the dev wanted to do. And depending on your stance on grindfests, it could succeed. As someone who does not like grindfests, I found this gameplay loop to be very boring. Sadly. But that's why devs need to understand more about the core audience that they're trying to attract. Also, it's worth pointing out that this, once again, this is a first game made for their first jam. So the fact that this works at all, the fact that this was completed at all, objectively, puts it above so many more game projects that, you know, start off ambitious and then falls apart. Nightbot, shut up. I'm having a moment here. And then it puts it head and shoulders above the games that try to do something and flop. This game was released and it was functional. Regardless of what anybody, including me, including a judge, thinks about the end product, I cannot overstate how big of an accomplishment it is to actually get something completed and out there. So, dev, always feel proud of what you've done. And then, if you think you did a great job, you want to iterate on it, great, do that. If you agree with me and you don't like how grindy it can be, okay, fine. Then there's a direction that you can take there. But ultimately, that choice is yours, and not mine, or anybody else's. Does Leaf Coast count as a solo protag? No, not at all. The whole point of Leaf Coast's battle system was to have the battles change depending on your partner. It's very much a partner-based system with a rotating cast of party members, of partners. I did it. Now I can finally get my food, because that's what it was all about. Getting the food. Again, it's a very cat thing. Not because you actually have your human to come back to you, not because you can get your belly rubs, but no, just get your food. After that, Violet picked me up and took me back while handling the rest of the slimes in the area. She looked tired, but she insisted on carrying me back herself. I think she looked worried about me. I don't know why, I can obviously hunt the best out of everyone. Once we got back, she gave me some of my favorite food that she only gives me sometimes. She's got a lot of nerve hiding it from me so often, but I try to forgive my human for being dumb. Violet and Milo talked about the same... is it Milo or Milo? I think it's Milo, yeah. Talked about some things for a while. I didn't really care though, I was enjoying a nap. When I got up, Milo had went home. Violet stayed home a lot after that. She kept saying she was worried about me. I don't know why, but she just kept having me do things like casting spells and seeing my reactions to things. Eventually, she said I seemed healthy. Of course I was. I exercise a lot. My human is a bit dumb. I still forgive her though, and she pets me a lot, so she makes up for it. I guess things are back to normal now. I should take another nap. Thank you for playing. And that was the Wizard Cat. So, good ideas. I like the elemental level up system is a nice one. I just really wish that there was more, it was less grindy. And how to make it less grindy? Well, reduce the HP of the starting enemies, for starters, so that you just get through battles much quicker. I get that the idea was that you use more spells. Like, you gain experience by using spells and not by defeating enemies. I get that, that's fine. But boy, does it wear down on you. when you start off that week. Let's see. But you know what really carried me through this game? The cat. Yeah. Again, as a former cat owner, I see a lot of my old cats within the protagonist here. So, yeah, I definitely believe that this was based off of the dev's real cat, because that's just how cats act. All right, but with that, we're going to go ahead and finish up. So once again, regardless of what my opinion is on these games, I know my opinion carries some weight because I'm a judge and I give these games a score. But again, the fact that you completed these games at all is always something to be proud of. So don't let any naysayers, including me, take that away from you. No one can take that away from you. Where you go from here is entirely up to you. But as devs, as a fellow dev, you should be proud that you completed something. And it's such a short time period too. You took an engine, you learned the engine, and you produced something of quality. You know, that is huge. So it's always something to be proud of. Anyway, thank you all so much for dropping by. I do appreciate you all being here for the highlights. But we are going to end it today. Now, I want you guys to just hold me accountable for this. Do not ever let me say that this is going to be a short stream ever again. Because clearly, I do not know how to manage my own time. But with that, we're going to go ahead and finish up. Who are we going to go raid? Is there a judge on? Riggy is on. Alrighty then. Well, we know who we're going to go hang out with. Alrighty then. Let us go and hang out with Riggy. So, thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you all again on Friday, where we will have another set of games to highlight. And thank you for streaming. Well, thank you all for being here, because otherwise, without you guys here, this would just be an insane asylum. Alright, I'll catch you guys later, and see you all on Friday. Bye.